And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that quote-unquote mother defending her monsters that she raised. I spoke about that on the previous show, but it might be due for an encore because that video kind of took off. Rightfully so, because that kind of stuff right there is really crazy. We'll talk about that. Also, Afghanistan has fallen apart in a very short period of time. Not long at all. But what was going to be the outcome aside from that? Maybe if it was done properly, aside from what Joe Biden is doing, the outcome could be a little bit different, but who knows? We'll talk about that. Also, the Governator, Arnold, talking about screw your freedom. You want to have personal freedom? You want to be an American? Screw your freedom. I wonder what his dad, who was a Nazi, thinks about that comment. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, are you a fan of the masks? Mask mandate? How about the vax mandate? Are you a fan of that? Well, if you're not a fan of those things, you might get put on the list. Maybe you are a terrorist. We'll talk about that as well. Also, the white population has dipped below 60% for the first time ever in the U.S. of A, according to the U.S. Census. Is it a good thing, bad thing, indifferent? We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you have heard thus far, if you enjoyed the show so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I'd most certainly appreciate you if you did. We got a whole lot to discuss tonight. There's quite a bit going on. A whole lot happening. I don't know where to begin, but I guess the first thing, as always, shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Shout out to all my sponsors. You already know what it is. And if you don't know, ablmerch.com. You can get the I Survived the Pandemic hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and more. And a bunch of other designs on there as well. ablmerch.com. I wonder if they got my website on the watch list because of this hat. If I call the pandemic instead, is that somehow a jailable offense? Have I violated the Ministry of Truths, creeds? What have I done that could possibly get me thrown in the penitentiary or in the gulag, making big rocks in the little ones? What's going on with that? We'll talk about that, though. And also, shout out to anthonyblogan.com, my website, where I have all my original articles on there. For every video, I source it. So people could call me whatever they want to call me, whatever kind of name they want to throw at me, whatever kind of pejorative term, whatever kind of ad hominem attack is fine. Because guess what? Number one, I never get called these things on my face ever in my life. But number two, I always back up what I say with evidence. Always. Just like when I say that the vaccine cannot stop the spread, nobody can say, oh, that's hate speech. Nobody could say anything about that if they're being honest, because I have the source. Rochelle Walensky, the CDC director, said it herself recently. So it's not like when Anthony Fauci said, don't wear a mask, it doesn't work, back in March 2020. It's not that. I'm talking about a thing she said recently on air, on CNN, after the whole Delta kerfuffle popped. Well, afterwards, just a few days ago, the vaccine cannot stop the spread. And it's so crazy because I've shown that video to people. I've told people this, and those that are really involved in the vax cult, they refuse to believe it. Yes, it can. Sir, ma'am, the vaccine cannot stop the spread. It's not me saying it. It's not me. Rochelle Walensky, the CDC director, said it out of her own mouth. Take her word for it, not mine. But since they've already been brainwashed, since they've been demoralized, as Yuri Bezmenov would say, nothing you say is going to make a difference. You can show pictures, video, audio, all types of evidence straight from, you can have Joe Biden himself come to your house and tell you that the vaccine does not stop the spread. All it does is allegedly reduce your symptoms. He can come to your house and say that, but they refuse to believe it because they've already been brainwashed and demoralized and to believe in that one thing. But anyway, That's a long way of saying everything I say is backed up with sources. Nobody will ever call me a liar in any of my videos, ever. But that's that. And shout out to bhedesigns.com. You see these beautiful handmade wooden American flags that are behind me? Go to bhedesigns.com and use that link in the description box so I get a little bit of credit. Use that link right there to get your very own flag that is like that, similar to it, your own custom creation, whatever you want. They're beautiful on the wall. And these are a large size. And I think it's like a matte finish. I'm not really sure. I forgot what I got. I think I got a matte finish. There's a little bit of a shine on them because I got the lights right here and they're casting right on there. And also Mr1920.com, Mr1920.com for beautiful handmade American soaps, real soaps, not none of that 7-Eleven grocery store detergent. That's got to get on up out of here. 100%. All right. Now, and don't delete anything that says, so y'all deleting the wrong stuff. I see the actual trolls. Okay. I see the actual trolls here. You don't have to delete anything that says, the transmission rate and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to delete that because nobody said that the vaccine does not stop it doesn't stop. Hold on. Did somebody say the transmission? Oh, nah, you don't got to delete that, but it's just wrong. The vaccine does not lower the transmission rate. The vaccine does not stop transmission. It does not. Rochelle Walensky got on TV. She didn't say, oh, well, the vaccine has become less effective when it comes to the transmission. She didn't say that. She said on air, matter of fact, to anybody that doesn't believe me, I'm gonna play the video right now and then we get on to the topics just so I can drive the point home. I'm gonna do it every time. All right. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just get it out the way early so we can move on with the rest of our show. And thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you have heard thus far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. I most certainly appreciate you if you did. Let's get this. Rochelle Walensky, who is a CDC director, not a staffer, not anything else other than director. So you know the whole eviction moratorium that came straight from Rochelle Walensky. Did you vote for her? When you voted for Trump in 2020, was Rochelle Walensky on the ballot? Is she some kind of elected official? Is she a congresswoman? No. Is she a Supreme Court justice? No. Is she the president, vice president, majority whip? No. Speaker of the House? She's just a person, an employee at the CDC. But here is the video right quick, just so people can know that it's not me saying it. It's not me. It's them. The people that you trust to go out there and get the juice, they're telling you what it does. So let's go ahead and play that right quick. Let's get a little bit of sound if we can. And let's go ahead and get rocking.
Our vaccines are working exceptionally well. They continue to work well for Delta with regard to severe illness and death. They prevent it. But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission. So
one more time. She says they do well when you're talking about symptoms. When you're talking about if you are getting sick or whatever, it can help you to get less sick, allegedly. That's what she's saying. But it cannot stop the spread. One more time.
Our vaccines are working exceptionally well. They continue to work well for Delta with regard to severe illness and death. They prevent it. But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission. So if you're going home to somebody who has not been vaccinated, to somebody who can't get vaccinated, somebody who might be immunosuppressed or a little bit frail, somebody who has comorbidities that put them at high risk, I would suggest you wear a mask in public indoor settings. Our vaccines are working.
So I don't gotta say no more. I don't gotta say no more about that because she said it right there. This is the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky. Look her up. That's her right there. So if anybody wants to argue with me, don't talk to ABL. Talk to the CDC. Talk to them and then figure out what's going on. Don't say a word to me. I don't know nothing. I'm just a normie out here just trying to figure everything like everybody else. I know nothing. Speak to them about that. Direct your concerns, direct your hate mail and your email to Rochelle Walensky, CDC. See if you can get her on the phone or have her on the call-in show or something like that and call like you call me and see how that goes. See how that works out for you. All right. So if they're lying, and if they're lying about that, my question would be, why lie? Why lie about the vaccine not working that well when they want to push the vaccine on you? Does it make any sense? No, it doesn't. They want to tell you the most positive thing about it to get you to go out there and get it. Because now they're trying to mandate it. Then they're trying to make the military get it through mandate. They're trying to say by September, they had an actual date for the military to be mandated to get the vaccine, talking about like September the 15th. And the reason why it's not mandatory yet, as far as I know, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, is that there's a federal law that prevents a vaccine that has not been approved by the FDA from being mandated to the military. That's also a Geneva Convention violation. That's the Nuremberg law. Basically, you can't use the military as guinea pigs. You cannot force the vaccine on them because it's still experimental. It's only being used because it's an emergency declaration that has been imposed on it. Therefore, they can use it on the general public. That means for you as a regular normie out there in the world, not to do the military, they'll make you get it at your job. They'll make you get it. But to the military, they don't, because Geneva Convention, Nuremberg. Do you feel safe like that? I know I don't. But hey, it is what it is. Now, let's get to the topics that we got. We got that out the way. We showed the proof, showed the evidence again. Let's get some of these topics right quick. And we're going to breeze. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that one, Miss Posh Life. How many infected at Obozo's birthday party? That's a good question. Last I checked, I'm not sure about the actual party itself, but they said last time I checked, there were 74 people on Martha's Vineyard that have been infected, and that's the highest since April. I wonder how that happened. Is it maybe, just maybe, all these people, close quarters, in a party, spreading it? Because, again, Rochelle Walensky, CDC director, says the vaccine does not stop the spread. Maybe it was a super spreader event. That's the words they use, not me. I would never say that, because I'm like, hey, whatever you want to do, live your life, right? I'm live and let live for the most part, to a certain extent. I'm not an anarchist. I believe in some rules in society, but I don't think you should just be, in your house forever, because you might catch this virus and you might have a less than 1% chance of passing away from it. I think you should be able to move around, do what you want to do, within general reason. And when I say within reason, I mean, maybe you shouldn't be able to go around, with a machete and just cutting people like that. But if you want to go to a party, go to a party. You want to go to a bar, go to a bar. Why not? That's what I believe. But a lot of these people that went to the party don't believe that for you. Oh, for themselves is all right, because they're rich and they're sophisticated, right? They're sophisticated, they're rich, they're vaccinated, so they could do whatever they want. Although that event probably was a super spreader. And the funniest thing is they've reported cases of the virus on Martha's Vineyard after Barack Obama's party. Now, the party was pretty decent sized. A few hundred people were there. Probably was like 200, 300, maybe 400 people there total. And from the staff and the attendees he invited, probably a few hundred, maybe about 500. But if that party resulted in new cases, then explain this. They said Lollapalooza was not significant spreader. Have you seen the pictures of Lollapalooza? Thousands of people. Matter of fact, hold on. Here's the article, or here's the tweet from ABC News. It says, officials have found no evidence of a super spreader event stemming from the Lollapalooza Music Festival in Chicago, City Health Commissioner says. Now, this is the Chicago Health Commissioner. Do you believe that? I mean, surely in Chicago, there's no corruption. There's never anything wrong going on. I mean, Kim Fox, she's great state's attorney, never did anything inappropriate for Juicy Smouye in that whole case. There was no hate crime hoax there, so he didn't go through the process, because that's right. That's correct, right? He shouldn't have gotten brought up on any charges. There should be no kind of penalty to him. Okay. Chicago is one of these cities that's openly corrupt, like not even trying to hide it. They're known for being corrupt, and they do corrupt things all the time, wide open, because who's going to punish them? Who's going to do anything to stop them? They feel like they could do pretty much whatever they want, and I think to a certain extent they're right. You have the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, breaking up a church service because it was too crowded. A church service had police down there, open up, banging on the door, a black church. Now, just a few months later, maybe like a year or so later, you have Lollapalooza with thousands upon thousands outside. Oh, it's outdoors. Please stop. Please stop. That whole outdoors thing, let's cut it out. I mean, they're elbow to elbow, though. You know, it doesn't matter where I am. You could be, like, if you're a little kid, right, and you're outside playing with other little kids, you're on the swing set. It's all kind of bacteria on that. It's all kind of bodily fluids that might be on it. Little kids, gonna be little kids and do stuff like that. You can get sick from that. You can also build your immune system. That's a different story. You can get sick from an outdoor event. Just because they're outside does not mean that viruses cease to exist outside. So I don't understand where this whole thing about they're outside. I don't really get it. Again, my thing is live your life. You want to go to Lollapalooza, you want to go to a bar, want to go to a restaurant, that's fine. What I don't like is the double standards of the rich and the wealthy being able to do certain things, certain cities being able to do certain things to bring in revenue. But then when they want to be political and please certain people, they shut the whole thing down. It's like, why? And the funniest thing I saw was people that said there was tight security. It's like, really? And pardon me, the security was for to screen people to see if they were vaccinated. It's like, for real? Hold on. Here's a live image of the vaccine, how can I say, screenings at the door. Vaccine screenings. This is the extent to what the vaccine screenings were. You know what I mean? That the pat down, just make sure ain't nothing on you. This guy, his pat downs are so nonchalant. You could have an entire arsenal of guns right in front of you, appendix carry, and he wouldn't even see it. He's looking not even at the people. He's looking straight ahead, not even viewing where he's going as far as his hands to try and check you, see if you got anything on you. No metal detector, no nothing. That is a level of security at Lollapalooza when it comes to, do you have the vaccine? It's crazy. All right, but I'll move right along from that. So yeah, the Obama party, it's funny how they can do that and there's no problem. People can catch it, there's no problem, but you want to have a church service, sir? You want to go to school? How about your kids? They want to go to school with no mask on? No, we can't do that. But we can have a party, 20,000 deep, elbow to elbow. It's fine, though. And we're going to put out a report that says there was no spreading happening of the virus. Okay, great. All right, but what we got going on here? Oh, yeah. Afghanistan. Is anyone surprised about Afghanistan, how it's falling apart? I don't think anybody should be surprised. When they announced they were going to leave, meaning the U.S., when they were going to leave, I figured the Taliban would take over because that is the de facto, that's the ruling group in Afghanistan. It's the Taliban. That's their government, really. The U.S. is trying to train the Afghan government, trying to train them and trying to give them money. And the crazy thing I saw was how the U.S. was giving a local warlord $100,000 per month to just not do anything, to just kind of chill. $100,000 a month. And when the U.S. left and the Taliban took over, which is like in 24 to 48 hours, took over the entire country. Kabul, the capital, that's pretty much next. I mean, they're like right there. It's only a matter of time. And as a matter of fact, as I speak, they may have taken Kabul. I'll talk about the military, how they feel about it in a moment. But here is some video from inside the palace that they took from this warlord. Because again, this guy was getting paid $100,000, I think in US dollars a month, to pretty much chill and not cause any problems. That's the whole thing where they were trying to do it in America, where they were trying to pay gangbangers to not engage in crime. All they did was get this really opulent. Look at this. Look at the chairs. I mean, come on. You see this chair that he has? Now, this is the Taliban in this man's palace after they took it over when the U.S. left. They're in there chilling. They got their water, eating their little food, having a good old time. Got a little flat screen TV, probably some DVDs in there. I mean, hanging out, chilling, having a great time. So, I mean, the question we have to ask ourselves is, what was the point in being there for 20 years? You spend trillions of dollars, if I'm not mistaken, trillions of dollars, 20 years, countless American lives that were lost, military lives that were lost. Why? For what? What was the purpose in being there? I'm hearing different things. One of the main things is the opium trade, but the opium trade was going on there for a long time before the U.S. And I'm going to say this about the opium trade in Afghanistan. Here's my hot take on the whole situation. Like I just said, the opium trade was happening in Afghanistan for a long period of time before the U.S. I mean, it's right there by China. I would presume that the British are over there getting opium and trading that to China. I would presume. I don't think they're growing opium in the United Kingdom and then going all the way to China with that during the opium wars. But that's a different story. They also had opium in, what's that, the Golden Crescent, Iran, and parts of India. But I'll move on. When the U.S. came and bombed the country to smithereens, before they came, it was already a poor country. Not a whole lot of economic activity going on. It's like, what's the big industry in Afghanistan? Do they have a Silicon Valley? Do they have oil in Afghanistan? I suppose they do. But is that a really big export of theirs? What is the big export from Afghanistan? Textiles and stuff like that? No. Opium. That's a big export. And when you kill a lot of the local economy through the whole war and the bombing, the U.S. may say, okay, we got to protect the poppy fields because the locals need this money for their economy. If other groups, warring factions come in and destroy the poppy, then that's going to reduce the amount of money that the locals get. Now, what ended up happening was there was a big surplus of this opium due to increased production because of the lack of economy in Afghanistan. Now, what did that do for the world's supply of heroin? Shot it through the roof and made the prices cheaper. This aids in the opiate crisis in the U.S., right? I think they said 95% of Europe's heroin supply comes from Afghanistan, some kind of crazy number like that. The majority of the world's opium supply comes from right there in Afghanistan, not because you can't grow it anywhere else. You can grow it in Mexico, Iran, Iraq. You can grow it in Thailand. You can grow it in other places, but Afghanistan has the largest amount of it. You have very high supply of opium, heroin, same thing, very low prices. So you're able to get black tar heroin or whatever for a very low price. That's going to fuel the opioid crisis. And then on top of that, you have Johnson & Johnson and their fentanyl. Oh, you didn't know that? Fentanyl is a man-made product made by Janssen Pharmaceutical or Pharmaceutica. The guy's name was Paul Janssen back in the 60s. The company, Janssen Pharmaceutica, is now a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson. Now, Johnson & Johnson give you the fentanyl and the cancerous talcum powder and the vaccine that has some problems, talking about blood clots and stuff like that. So do you trust that? The same people that gave you the cancerous baby powder and fentanyl are going to give you the shot. Are you going to take it? I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't want to take that. If I was the kind of guy that was involved with taking these types of shots, I would not want to get that one. And they pulled it from the shelves for a while and put it right back. Did they change it at all? Or did they just add a little warning on it, talking about, oh, you could be an adverse reaction So you're going to pull it from the shelves because it's dangerous and put the same thing right back on the shelves with a warning going talking about, yeah, it's dangerous. And you going to take that? I don't know about you, but I'm good. I'm not going to do it. So yeah, it's a lot of fentanyl from China as well, of course. Yeah, now I think a lot of the heroin is coming from China. And since the U.S. is not in Afghanistan, I think that China could be more involved with the heroin trade in Afghanistan. Do you know there's a rail system coming from China through Afghanistan, throughout the entirety of Afghanistan? And that part of the rail is not controlled by the Taliban exclusively. So China going to do with the Taliban, and whatever they need, they're going to give them. And this train goes from China to Iran, I think throughout Europe as well. They're trying to bring, they've already brought the Silk Road back, and they got this thing called the Belt and Road. That's China. See, China is going to be involved a lot more in Afghanistan. I think people need to be more honest when they're talking about Afghanistan. They're talking about, oh, they're going to bring the terrorists back. The terrorists are not going to go anywhere. You would never get rid of the terrorists. The Taliban would never leave because you're not dealing with some kind of upstart group. First of all, Taliban means students. That's what that word means. Students. They were trained to be this way in Pakistan. This is a really deep history here. So these guys are not just like, oh, a lot of what? Nah, they were trained in this. And for many years, 30 years, 40 years, this has been a long time coming. They're not going to change. The entire culture of the country is what sustains the Taliban. When you're talking about religion and stuff like that, you're not going to ever. Iran's a great example. Do you know the Iranian flag says Allahu Akbar 13 times on it? If that is their country, how are you going to ever defeat them if they're ideologically driven? It's not just a matter of we're trying to get money and we're trying to just fight for the flag. And nah, it's a spiritual thing. When someone says, you know what, I'll die just because I want to go to heaven and I don't even really care about living or dying, how can you fight that? You can't. You cannot. And there's going to be more and more and more of them as time progresses. So really, I think it was a mistake for us to go there. And I feel for all the military that had to go there, that lost friends, battle buddies, had to bury. It's really unfortunate. And my prayers out to you guys that had to go there. PTSD, injuries, losing friends, losing family. Why? 20 years down the drain in 48 hours. But I saw it coming because the Taliban are never going to leave. The British couldn't get them out. The Russians couldn't get them out. And we couldn't get them out. And the crazy part is how we left. I mean, why leave all the weapons behind? Why not clean up after yourself? Why just abandon it? Like, I don't understand how we left. To me, that makes no sense. I think we need to have a better way of, jumping ship, not just leave all the weapons and munitions to the Taliban or to Iran or whatever. I think some of the Afghan military and or Taliban are going to Iran with some of the U.S. weaponry and some of the U.S. machinery. Now, if Iran gets that, they can reverse engineer it, use it, give it to the Chinese, give it to the Russians, because Iran and China and Russia, they got a little clique going on. So this is not a very smart thing we did as far as how we left. I'm not saying we got to be there forever. Like I said, we shouldn't have been there to begin with. However, if we are there, you got to leave appropriately, not just leave all the weapons, all the ammo, all the sensitive materials. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do something like that? I don't really get it at all. Yeah, it's their country. I'm not disputing that at all. No dispute for me. And like I said, we shouldn't have been there. It was never going to end any other way other than badly. But we could have ended better than what we did, rather than just leaving all the weapons. Thousands, piles of guns everywhere. Piles of guns. We left. Just, hey, take that. There's no problem. And they got Black Hawk helicopter. They got everything that we had. Why couldn't we take that back? Why? And my big thing would be, okay, here's my question to you guys that may know more than me. You guys are very smart. I say that all the time. What was the purpose of the U.S. going there? Was it because of 9/11? Was it because of the opium? Was it because of rare earth minerals? Let's not forget that part, because China, again, is right there. China borders Afghanistan. Did you know that? They border Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's like a little slither, and that connects right to China. Tibet, but China nonetheless. Anyway, rare earth minerals is what China is in, too. They got kind of the monopoly on rare earth minerals. So were we there to protect the rare earth minerals for China in exchange for cheap tech exports? Some of your iPhones and whatnot? Because a lot of your stuff in your iPhone comes from places like Afghanistan, Inner Mongolia, China, other parts of the world, Africa, cobalt, zinc, all of that is very important, and China has the monopoly on that. So was it because of that? Or is it kind of like all the above? Or was it because of terrorism? If it's that, I mean, come on. Terrorism happens all over the world. I mean, why Afghanistan specifically? 9/11 for bin Laden. But bin Laden was in Pakistan, wasn't he? Which goes back to the whole thing about the Taliban coming from Pakistan. Why are we in Afghanistan and not Pakistan? Why did we invade one after the other? I think Pakistan has nukes. Afghanistan might be the weaker nation. Pakistan will not roll over like that. But why go to Afghanistan and not Pakistan or somewhere else? China already has permits to the mine in Afghanistan. Yeah, makes sense. So they're about to get the airport and the embassy. Speaking about the Taliban in Afghanistan, not surprised. Bush Sr. went after water monopoly. Water monopoly. Anthony says the Afghan mission wasn't as brutal or traumatic as the Vietnam War. Yeah, the Vietnam, that was a failure too. Yeah, we created Al Qaeda. That's correct. Not the Taliban. Taliban been around for a long time. We interfered with a lot of things they had going on, which probably just helped them. I think a lot of these foreign nations and some of these foreign groups, what they end up doing is using whoever is trying to quote unquote help them for their own purposes. You know, people want to go in there talking about, okay, we got a mission, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Meanwhile, people that are there and been there since the beginning of man, they're trying to figure out how can they manipulate the situation to get what they want out of it. How can they endure 20 years? The Taliban been there, have not gone anywhere, and they're not going anywhere. Within 48 hours, whole country taken over like that. Okay, all about becoming more rich. Oh, and also about Afghanistan, one thing I failed to mention is, what was I getting ready to say? Oh, there's military contracts. So if you're able to go, be a contractor, like a civilian or something like that, or even in the military, U.S. military, there's plenty of money to be made. There's a lot of money spent in Afghanistan. Where there's the money that's spent go. It's like politics, to take it back to that, where I'm more comfortable talking about politics, not so much about some of the military stuff. That's not my wheelhouse. A prime example, when you're talking about just doing things to get money, people that run that don't really want to win their race, have no intentions of winning their race. They're running just trying to raise money because they're able to get some of that money in their own pocket. Now, it's an FEC violation, if I'm not mistaken, to take campaign money and spend it on yourself. But what if you have a consulting firm, or if a friend of yours has a consulting firm? They got a consulting firm. You take some of that campaign money, pay them, and then it kick back to you. Ilhan Omar does that. That's what her husband does. Her husband, her third husband, I think, she was married to the brother for purposes of immigration, allegedly. Then she had the Islamic marriage to her real husband that she got kids with. She got divorced from the brother and divorced religiously from the actual husband. Then she got married to the white man by the name of Tim Minette. Tim Minette is a consultant, and he was that before they got married. And that's all a report that said 70% of her campaign money goes to his consulting firm. So if they're married, 70% of her campaign money goes to him. I mean, where is that money going? Is it going all into quote unquote expenses? Is any of that profit? Of course. Now, is any of that profit being shared with his wife? Of course. Why not? I mean, She could just be a stay-at-home mom or wife or whatever and not work. And then that money would go towards the household. It's the same thing, although she's in the office and she's working. It's the same concept. That money goes to both of them, mostly to her and to her living expenses and to her glamorous life. That's just one example of that. But there's that kind of thing where you got a consultant and this money goes here, this money goes there. That's very common on the Hill. Very common. So when you see some of these races where you got to raise millions of dollars to try and win, to get your name on the ballot, that money goes somewhere. It's not just being raised for no reason. It's not just being raised and sitting in your bank account. It's being spent, and there's plenty of money to be made in this particular area. Military is no different. So that could have been it. What they call it, a grift, as the cool kids say, could have been a big military grift from the higher ups, from those that are in the military, your infantry and whatnot, your contractor. They're doing their job. But the higher ups, your Donald Rumsfelds and your Dick Cheney, they're just getting money. Money. Ask yourself this. How does Obama have a home on Martha's Vineyard worth $12 million? Well, it's worth $20 million. Worth $20 million, 30 acres, but he only made $400,000 as a president a year. And he didn't have a job before that paid him any more than that. Before he was a president, he was what, a senator or a state senator? Was he even in the federal government before he became the president in 2004, or was that a state senate? Regardless of what, he never made more than $400,000 in his life, except for being in the White House. That's it. So how did you go from $400,000 to your home was $20 million? Where's the money come from? That's probably what it boils down to for Americans, for the leadership, and those that are overseas. They get whatever they want from it. Everybody's eating off each other. And as a result, we see that Taliban is taking back over, which they always were in control, in my humble opinion. All right. State, then U.S., talking about Barack Obama being a senator. Okay, that's what it was. State senator, then U.S. senator, then president. Like it was planned, right? Like somebody in government knew him a long time ago. Like, I don't know, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush. Like, they also knew his wife, and it was kind of arranged. I don't want to go down that road, so I digress. The whole point is that this whole Afghanistan thing is really a shame. And my heart goes out to you. If you were in Afghanistan and you feel defeated, hey, we got your back. Don't feel defeated. We got your back. Now you understand, if you didn't understand before, what's really going on with the military industrial complex, with these leaders. People in the military, I respect, love you guys 100%. My dad was in the military. Granddad was in the military. Uncle was in the military. Not me, but everybody else, they were in the military. Nothing but love, nothing but respect. It's the leadership that's the problem. That is the issue, as it normally is. You know, the U.S. is a great country. I love the U.S., the best country on planet Earth. However, right now, we have terrible leadership in the federal government. Terrible leadership. This guy, Joe Biden, has no idea where he's at. He doesn't know if he's coming or going. Did you guys see when he was on the, the Rose Garden somewhere? And he was speaking to the media for a moment, and they told him, hey, go that way. The person stood in front of him as he was trying to go straight up and then over to the door. He says, hey, go this way. And he refused to do it. That is who we got right now in a leadership role in America. That's not good. But the country is great. Leadership is terrible. I'll move right along. Thank y'all again for being here. Most certainly appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're not subscribed already, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. And I'd appreciate you if you did. All right. So the Governator, get to that chopper. The Governator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, says F your freedom, or pardon me, screw your freedom. That's what he said. Screw your freedom when it comes to wearing the mask, when it comes to X, Y, and Z. And I have a clip, if you've not seen it already. I'll put it on the screen right quick. And funny enough, he was doing an interview with CNN, and he's next to Alexander Vindman. You know, the guy that he spoke against Trump and the whole Ukraine thing and the impeachment, the lieutenant, I forget what his title is in the military. He's in the military, him and his twin brother in the military. He spoke against Trump and the impeachment. Why is Alexander Vindman right there next to Arnold Schwarzenegger? For what? One guy was a movie star back in the day, RoboCop, Terminator, all this and that. He was that. And he was a governor of California. And then you have a military guy who basically tried to get Trump impeached. Or Trump did get impeached. He tried to get him removed from office. What did they really have in common? You know the answer to that. It's kind of a rhetorical question. Let's get to the video right quick so we can see exactly what was said here. And then we'll move right along. Okay, here we go. Let's get to it. And there we go.
But I think people should know there is a virus here. It kills people. And the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom, because with freedom comes obligations and kind of responsibilities. We cannot just say, I have the right to do X, Y, and Z. When you affect other people, that is when it gets serious. It's like no different than a traffic light. We put a traffic light at an intersection so someone doesn't kill someone else by accident. So this is why we have a traffic light. You cannot say, no one is going to tell me that I'm going to stop here, that I have to stop at this traffic light here. I'm going to go right through it. Yeah, then you kill someone else, and then it is your doing. So this is the same thing with the virus. You cannot go and not put a mask on, because when you breathe, you can infect someone else, and you can infect someone that then gets sick and may die. So this is why I think.
Okay, so you heard the Governator, Arnold, get to that shop. You heard him say that. Now, here's my, first of all, isn't that medical misinformation, Twitter? Shouldn't it be a flag on that? Because it said quite a few things there that were wrong. First of all, the mask does not stop you from infecting anybody. The mask may block a droplet or two, as Anthony Fauci said, but it's not going to just, I think somebody said it the best. A doctor said this the best. Wearing a mask is like wearing a chain link fence and throwing sand through it. You might catch some of the sand, but generally you're not going to stop the sand. It's an ineffective way. It's probably worse than that, because they say the virus is like smoke. You see what I'm saying? So if smoke can get through your mask, you're not, you need to have one of them big beekeeper outfits, the whole astronaut. You need to have one of them. But a whole oxygen tank, you need that to protect yourself. This little bandana, little cloth mask ain't doing nothing. You might as well not wear it. And then didn't they say that if you got the vaccine, you don't need the mask? Didn't they say that a few months ago? Now they're saying you need to wear it. Why? Because the vaccine's not working as well as it did before. They said the Pfizer is 42% effective in the month of July because of the new quote-unquote variant. But they said before it was 95% effective. So from 95 to 42. So is it any surprise that they want you to get another one? What they call it, a booster shot. Are you surprised at the booster shot? You shouldn't be, because they realize that it's not working that well. It's kind of falling off. So they got to give you another one to shore it up. Or maybe these shots are doing something else. I won't go down that road, but you understand what I'm saying. They might give you a different thing that they're not talking about. They are talking about it, but they're not talking about it. Something that's floating around, but they don't know, oh, where did it come from? Did it come from India? Did it come from the unvaccinated? Maybe, just maybe, it came from the shot itself. But again, I know nothing. Don't take my word for it. I'm just a guy on the internet talking. This is all entertainment, nothing else. So this is not medical advice or anything of this sort. You got to go to Anthony Fauci and hear him change his mind every 5 minutes. That is more reliable than myself. But I'll move on. But, I mean, at a certain point, do we have freedom in America? Do we have freedom in America? The whole point about the stoplight is ridiculous. Everybody generally respects the stoplight. There are certain things we're going to respect in society. You understand? Like, that's just stop signs for the most part, stop lights, because you don't want to get hurt. You don't want anybody else to get hurt. You want traffic to flow smoothly. That's what that is. And if you run through a red light, you might get a ticket and pay the ticket, and that's it. But as far as masks, I mean, where do we stop? If you say, okay, there's a mask mandate, a vaccine mandate, how about a don't be fat mandate? How about that? How about you got to have a BMI below 22 or something like that, or whatever a high BMI would be? How about your height and weight are going to be measured every day? And if you get a pound above the recommended weight, according to your height, then your food will be restricted. You can't eat sugar anymore. You can't eat salt and fat anymore. 1 meal a day. How about that? We know that 78%, according to one study, 78% of those that were in the hospital with the virus are obese. 78%. So if we're trying to slow the spread, flatten the curve, make everybody be safe, make everybody be healthy, okay, let's end obesity. How about that? Oh, we can't do that. We can't dictate what somebody should eat and what they shouldn't eat. Oh, okay. But we're going to dictate masks and vaccines. Oh, okay. Makes sense to me. I mean, at a certain point, if you keep saying, all right, it's just a mask, it's just a vax, it's just a food ration, then it's like, what else are you going to let them do? It's just a probe in the airport, spread your cheeks right quick and just, remember that in China, they're talking about a spontaneous probe to see if you got the virus? Pull your pants down. It's like, sir, no, not doing that. It's just not going to happen. But people were talking about, yeah, it's no problem. People are so scared of this thing, they'll let anybody do anything to them. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's not going to happen. I'm still a human being. I'm still a man. You're not going to just violate me because I'm scared. I'm not scared at all. Not scared at all. I'd had a gun in my face more than once. I didn't die. So this little virus ain't going, why would I be scared? I wasn't scared then. Well, I was a little bit scared, but not that much. But this right here is nothing. So why be scared now? But yeah, and speaking about Arnold and protecting yourself, you didn't do that when it came to the maid, did you? You got a whole son. Looks just like him, by the way. It's like identical to Arnold. You got a whole son by the maid. So I don't want to hear this holier than thou, do what I say, because you're not doing that. You're not protecting yourself and others. You got a whole baby, a whole grown adult, 20-something years old. So, I mean, come on. And the last piece about that is that he should know better because he's from Austria originally. Still got the accent after the past 40 years of being in the U.S., but that's a different story. Still got the the Germanic accent. All right, you still got that going on because you're Austrian. Do you know that Arnold's father was a Nazi? Like, for real. Not in this way of you're a Nazi because you're a big meanie head, because you make me feel upset and you make me cry. Not that. How some of these weirdos on the internet talk about the word Nazi. I'm talking about he was in a Nazi government for real. And he volunteered. He was not conscripted to be in the government. Now, I'm not judging him necessarily because, hey, if you were in Austria in the 40s, I mean, the Nazi government was the government. We could look back on it now and see all the war crimes and stuff that they did, killing people and invading countries and stuff like that. We could talk about that, and that's fine. However, the fact remains his dad was a Nazi, Gustav Schwarzenegger. Look him up. Don't take my word for it. Gustav, G-U-S-T-A-V, Schwarzenegger. So maybe your Nazi dad gave you some of that ideology of, you know, papers, please type mentality. Maybe that's where that came from. I don't really know. Because again, you should know better. You came from Austria. You were born 1947. You were born right at the time where that was going on. Your dad was a Nazi. So if he's apologetic, which I'm sure he was, he should have been able to tell you about how these things happen, about how, you know, it's little stuff. It's kind of like feature creep. You say, all right, we got to make sure that the country is safe. We got to make sure everybody's good. So we got to have this kind of security. And then it devolves into, we're going to ration this, we're going to check this, we're going to do this. It becomes totalitarian. It becomes a dictatorship. It becomes control of the government, no freedom. You should know that, but for some reason you don't. Maybe his dad told him something different as a Nazi. Maybe he was not so apologetic and was like, yeah, we did the right thing. I don't know, but whatever the case may be, what he said there was crazy. And I don't know what he did as a governor of California. Was anybody in California under the Governator? I remember when he got elected. I do remember that, but I don't remember his time as the governor. Was anybody there during that whole time? I love to hear what he accomplished, if anything, while being the Governator. All right. So let me see. I'm reading some of this here. But yeah, at the end of the day, if we're not going to mandate diets, if we're not going to mandate levels of sugar and fat and salt, if we're not going to mandate diets, then how are we going to mandate wearing a mask? And the thing about it with kids, have you ever seen how kids are? I know when I was a kid, my hands were completely filthy all the time. I'm playing in dirt. One of my favorite pastimes was to go outside and play with dirt. Just play with dirt, just dirty. So a little boy, 5 years old, wearing the mask, I got dirt on my hands. I got all kind of doo-doo and everything else. I'm touching my mask. How is that clean for a 5-year-old to wear a mask? Why I got to wear a mask going on the school bus or something like that when I'm 5, 6, 7 years old? Why? For what? That'd cause more problems than it would do good. It's so stupid. But I guess the days of common sense, of rational thinking are long gone. We've gone way far beyond that. We're all into this, just trying to please people through political measures, not thinking about what makes sense to actually do. All right. L says he didn't suck because he didn't do much. That makes a lot of sense. He was kind of just there, kind of a figurehead type guy. He converted all of his Humvees to electric. Okay. Let me see. Charlie says, I was around when Schwarzenegger was governor and he did absolutely nothing, bring the cost of living up. Well, hey, not surprised at all. Not surprised in the least bit. Is he with the housekeeper? I don't know. You got a whole son. And the son, hey, look, just like him back in the day. Ripped, big cut up. But the other son looking like a sack of potatoes. That's a different story. I'll move right along from that one. But yeah, Arnold, no way. No, sir. Not gonna happen. I think maybe Arnold might be a preview of Caitlyn Jenner, if they were to become the next governor. So shout out to my man, Larry Elder. Hopefully he's able to become the governor of California. I don't live there, obviously, but if I did, I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. No questions asked. No questions asked. Oh, did I already talk about the mask list? I spoke about it briefly. So have you guys seen this picture? People thought this picture was fake. I'm going to put it on the screen real quick if I can find it. They thought it was fake. They thought that this couldn't be real. How can this be real? Is this a joke? No, it's not a joke. Let me put it on the screen right quick. So this is a real picture. You see it. If you can't see the screen, I'll just read it to you right quick. On NBC Nightly News, they had a little segment about this terror threat bulletin from DHS. And in the bulletin, there's certain points that they put up on the screen in the graphic. And this went around the internet. People thought, oh, is that real? That can't be real, ABL. No, it's 100% real. 1,000% real. Here's what it says. Potential terror threats. Opposition to COVID measures. Claims of election fraud. Belief Trump can be reinstated. 9/11 anniversary and religious holidays. So these are things they're looking for to see a potential terror threat. And of course, on the news, they mentioned January 6th, things of that nature. Now, they're not talking about a potential terror threat anytime somebody gets shot by police. They're not talking about that. There's no bulletin from the DHS when it comes to that. But then when it comes to things like this, that they think people on the right will be involved with, then it's all of a sudden a terror threat. So if you don't want to wear a mask, are you going to get put on the list? Are they going to catalog you for something like that? I saw a few things on that particular bulletin. They're talking about there's talks of a race war happening on online forums, and I've seen that. So when anytime anybody calls me and asks about that, I be like, no, it ain't gonna happen. Partly because I don't believe it. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I also know there could be some federales out there trying to fish and see what they can find. Oh, ABL says it's gonna be a race war, which I never would say. You know, if anybody wants to clip that, don't take that part too. But they may say a thing I say and take it out of context, and then you got me on the news talking about I'm on the watch list. But I think the watch list is already here, although you may not know about it. Matter of fact, can I find the clip? Because, you know, there was that image that got around the internet, but then there was actual footage from the news that also made the rounds. Let me see if I can find that right quick, and then I put it on the screen. Oh, here we go. Here's one particular clip. Here's another one. So this is two different news sources. You have NBC and also CBS. Let's go to NBC first.
Pete, what do we know about this?
Well, DHS says this new terrorism advisory is not based on any actual threats or plots, but it says there's a rise in anti-government rhetoric. Some of it is opposition to COVID public health rules like mask and vaccine measures.
Said it right there on NBC Nightly News. And then here's one from CBS.
Homeland Security issued a national terrorism alert, warning that violent extremists could take advantage of the easing of pandemic restrictions to conduct attacks. Now, this updates the alert issued in January after the assault on the Capitol, and it warns domestic terrorists fueled by online conspiracy theories pose a growing threat to the U.S. Homeland Security.
Now, what are the conspiracy theories? That the vaccine doesn't work? Is that a conspiracy theory? Because I could have sworn I saw Rochelle Walensky, the CDC director, say that out of her own mouth on television on CNN without it being edited, no deep fake, nothing going on. She said it out of her own mouth on television. So is that a conspiracy theory? What are we talking about? So this is real. And you know what? The craziest thing is they're talking about a vaccine passport, right? I saw a number that said, I think 25% of Black New Yorkers between the ages of 18 and 44 are vaccinated fully. So right around 75% of Black New Yorkers in that age group, 18 to 44, are not vaccinated. So then when they're talking about vaccine passports, or you got to show your card to get into a restaurant, to get into a movie. I mean, we didn't brought Jim Crow back just on undercover. We brought it back, and we tried to tell them. We was like, look, the Democrats, the left, they're the ones that gave you Jim Crow, segregation, and they try to bring it back. Joe Biden said it. They're going to put y'all back in chains. Who was it they? The they was him. And here we are. Now, I don't want to talk about anything fraudulent or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you're an honest person or they got you on a database or something like that, and you want to go to the gym, to the restaurant, maybe even to school, nope, can't do that unless you get the shot. And 75% of Black New Yorkers in that age group, 18 to 44, don't have it, which is the highest in the nation. Black and Hispanic, the highest in the nation. But then they try to frame it as a Republican thing, a Trump supporter thing, which is the dumbest thing in the world, because before the election happened, before Joe Biden got in office, Trump was the one that was pushing it. Trump was the one that gave you Operation Warp Speed, and the left were saying, I don't want to get that. I don't want that because it's unsafe, all this and that. Now they changed their tune. Why change the tune when it's the same exact thing that Trump developed or got behind as Operation Warp Speed? Why? And then a lot of Black folks remain steadfast, saying, I'm not going to get that. I'm good. But you want to come out with these little passports to keep them out. It's funny how that works, but we called it. So now those that were trying to call me all kind of names and all this, that, and the third, they're coming back now. I'm getting DMs heavy from back in Virginia. Hey man, who's in charge of the shutdowns and the lockdowns? Hey man, you know who's in charge of it. Don't ask me no questions. You already know what's going on. I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you, but you didn't listen. Now, hopefully, you don't do the same thing you did in 2020, in 2022, or 2024. And if you do, it's your fault. Whatever you get is your fault, period. Because where I live in Tennessee, it's fine. No problems. It's all good. Everything's open. Ain't no restrictions. We straight. We living. But you living in Virginia somewhere, you got this blackface racist governor. You know, you got him in there talking about full birth abortion, all kind of stuff. You got him in there locking you back down, making you wear a mask. You gonna do that, or just you gonna follow along, or do something else? Anyway, I digress. Thank y'all again for being here. Most certainly appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Help us out a whole lot. Keep everything rocking and rolling the way it's supposed to be. And shout out to all the newer people just following the channel. Hey, stay around for a while. I think you will enjoy all the content here. Also, go to all my websites. Everything's in the description box. AnthonyBlogan.com, ABLmerch.com, Mission1920.com, PatriotPost.us for all your news and information, PatriotPost.us, and also, pardon me, BHEDesigns.com. Check them out. All the links in the description box below. I got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick, and then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll get to those in about 10 minutes or so. Y'all just hang tight, and I will get straight away on it. Shout out to Mike from Queens, who says, build back better with laughing emojis. Hilarious. Yes, build back better, all right. Build back the Taliban in Afghanistan. That's what he's talking about, building back better. Shout out to Apple, who says, RIP Kenan Hennett, August 9th, 2020. God bless family. Yes, RIP. Also from Apple, who said, message to Andrew Cuomo, you're going to let the communists kick you out? Go scorch earth and reveal all Democrat secrets. Clinton's, Seth Rich, AOC, 1-6 election 2020. Cuomo can't do that because he wants to live. Huh? Hold on. I got to take a little sip of my drink. He wants to live, so he can't do that. I'll leave that there and move on. Also from Apu, he says the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor got $27 million and $12 million respectively. What would the family of Ella French get? RIP Officer French. That's a very good question. And you know what? I think I saw something where they refused to play the bagpipes, talking about we don't have time. We don't have 20 minutes for that SHI, X, Y, and Z. Can't play the bagpipes for her. When she passes away, you can't do that. 20 minutes, it's too much of your time. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Shout out to Ian, who says, fully vaccinated Southwest flight attendant, 36, dies from COVID-19 nearly 2 months after testing positive following a trip to Hawaii. Wow. 2 months afterwards? Like, what happened? Like, how did she pass away that long after? The phones are not on just yet. Give me about 10 minutes. You know, as I get through the chats, I will get to them. Y'all just hang tight. Let me see. Shout out to Ken Jeeper, who says, you know who Anomaly is? Would love to see a debate between you two. I know who he is. I'm not really sure what the debate would be, but I know who he is. I saw him and Sticks have a debate. You know, Sticks is a really smart guy. I'll leave that right there. Apple gave me a few here. It says, Arnold comes to USA, can't speak English, becomes Mr. Universe, B-movie actor, A-list celebrity, marries a Kennedy, and elected governor of California. And great, exactly. We gave you everything, and you give us this? What the mask? Nah, no sir. He also says Obama equals spread neck, Obama, Cuomo, who's better dancer? Obama, but not by a wide margin. Apple also says COVID, open border, inflation, Taliban, Biden vacay. Exactly. Yeah, you got all that going on. Afghanistan's falling. Look, I'm going to go to vacation. Y'all catch you on the flip side. ABL love Thursday's live stream with B. Tatum, Modern Renaissance Man, and Jericho Green. Yeah, that was a good show. And shout out to everybody that was there for that stream on Brandon Tatum's channel. Really, really fun show. And I should be back on the show next week. I'll keep y'all tuned about that. Apu also says, ABL, love your Italian accent. Ciao Bella. Yeah, ciao Bella. Hold on, let me go back here. Take it to Ryan, who says, I caved to family pressure and got the shot. Mothers can't be influential. Hopefully I don't turn into a zombie. Hey, man, you know what you're into. You know, hopefully you don't do anything else. If they say take the booster or something like that, don't go down the rabbit hole of taking all these shots every other year, because that might be what it ends up being. It's talking about a third shot already. Normally when you do a shot, it's just one, right? A flu shot, isn't it just one shot a year? Then it already gave you 3 shots, or at least 2, and a third one coming up like right around Christmas time. So is it going to be a yearly thing? Are you going to keep counting how many shots you get? Let me see. Shout out to Ian, who says, we created the Taliban to fight off Russia, Al-Qaeda to fight off Russia. Bin Laden was trained by CIA. And shout out to Jay, who says, what are your thoughts on QAnon? I don't know anything about it. I've never followed it, so I don't know anything about it. Thank you to Matt for the donation. Thank you to Jerry J, who says, they can't because it costs too much money to move that stuff from Afghanistan. Hey, they've spent a lot of money already, so what's another $500 billion? Why not? You done already spent a few trillion. Why not a few billion more? They could spend money on the most ridiculous things, bridge to nowhere, all these stimulus checks. All the stimulus checks did was just deplete the heroin supply from junkies all over the country. It depleted the PlayStation 5 supply, the flat screen TVs, chicken nuggets, chicken wings. That's what it did, was deplete the supply of that. Okay, it didn't do anything to help the economy, but it's spent $1 trillion on that. So why not use that money in an effective way? Because obviously what they did for 20 years didn't work at all. Why not spend a little bit more money to weapons back? Or send it somewhere else. Give it to Saudi Arabia or somebody. Don't just leave it right there in Afghanistan. Shout out to Apple, who says, ABL, do Democrat voters tell you regretting voting for Joe Biden? Yeah, I get that all the time. A lot of Democrats say they regret voting for Joe, or, you know, people, well, what I get a lot is people that said they voted for Biden, pardon me, they voted for Trump this past time. They voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and then they voted for Trump in 2020. I get that a lot. People that switched before Biden was even a thing, but after Hillary Clinton lost, if that makes sense. Ian says, my bad, already read that one. Thank you to WT, who says, remember that Navy boat that caught fire because too much diversity studies? Yeah, that was crazy. 100% crazy. Thank you to Noel Garcia, who says, Obama was 2-stepping from the window to the wall for his birthday bash. Yes, he was. Having a good old jolly time. Not a care in the world. Ain't worried about nothing. It was all good. But you, on the other hand, sir, ma'am, everybody watching, you got to put your mask on, distance, and do whatever the government tells you to do. It might not make sense, but do it anyway. They might say, hey, man, do the cha-cha slide. How is it going to help? Look, don't worry about how it's going to help the virus. Just do it because we're the government. We tell you to do it. Ian says, have you heard of the choir conductor at Trinity United Church of Christ, Donald Young, who was murdered? His mom claimed he was Obama's gay lover. I've not heard about that, but not surprised, unfortunately. Shout out to Chris for your donation. My man Jericho Green, shout out to you, says, get to the chopper and have it drop you back in Austria. Arnold is trash. That's 100% right, Jericho. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, Arnold, terrible. 100% terrible. Screw your freedom, really? I mean, like I was saying in my video, go back to Austria and tell people that lived through the war, tell them that, screw your freedom, and see how that goes. Just do that and report back. Give me your field study on that one. Gypsy Queen says, what do you think about Kamala Harris going to El Paso to check on the border right before Blue Origin launches? Closest was El Paso. Yeah, the thing about El Paso, I've been there before, and it has a wall on it. A very good wall between it and Juarez, which is right there across the border. Juarez is very dangerous, extremely dangerous. I'm talking about video game dangerous, but El Paso was real chill. When I was in El Paso, I was right there by the border, right at the hotel that's right there. I'm right there. It was super chill. You can walk around by yourself. It's no problem. However, across that border, it gets super, super active. Super active. Not only is it a wall right there, it's also a military base right there. Drones in the sky, all kind of security right there. She didn't go to where it's actually happening at because it's probably too dangerous. That's the problem. You can't have the vice president who may become the president any day now because this guy got 2 feet in. Get ready to put the dirt over him. Get ready to do that, you understand? They can't have her out there in an active war zone, basically. So send her to the place with a border wall and security, military base, drones, planes, all that kind of good stuff, right? The thing that El Paso has needs to be all over the border, which is the funniest part about that whole situation. All right. Shout out to Ian who says, check out article in Quanta Magazine, respected science mag. Vaccines are pushing pathogens to evolve by Melinda Winter Moyer, published May 10th, 2018. Makes sense to me. I'll check it out. Shout out to Out of the Mud Ministry, Logan Crew, who says, what about my husband, a veteran? He had countless others risk their life for your freedom. Go back to your home. Leave the American money here. Speaking about who? About Arnold or who? Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to Pete Sangria, who says, 20 years since 9/11. I still remember the smell. So were you there, like, on the ground? That's got to be very traumatic for you. Winston Thomas says, this terrorist thing is doublespeak from the book 1984. Didn't Obama sign this new terrorist thing into effect? I think he did. If I'm wrong about that, y'all let me know in the comments. Shout out to Leo Mazzino, who says, I heard that Dave Portnoy from Barstool helped with donations for Officer French. Well, if he did that, shout out to him. You know, what's happening now, aside from the government being really weird, is while the government is ineffective in many ways, regular people are stepping up. Not totally regular, but people that are not in government, people that have money, resources, they are stepping up and doing what the government can't do in the real way. So shout out to them, to Barstool and Dave Portnoy. Thank you to Laura Catherine for the thumbs up emoji. I appreciate you for that one. Shout out to Ian Kinney, who says, Vallejo, California, a young mother was arrested by police after her 3-month-old baby was left alone in a hot car while she got her nails done. Hopefully the baby didn't die, because a 3-month-old in a hot car, it could be curtains closed very soon, unfortunately. So yeah, she needs to go up under big rocks, little rocks immediately for doing that to a baby, an infant. I mean, my thing is, you got a baby, why not bring the child with you? Is it that hard? I mean, I've been in salons before, and there's kids all in there all the time. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But a baby, come on. And is it that important to get your nails done to have your baby in a hot car? Even if it was a cold car, why do that? I mean, someone could come by in Vallejo, Bay Area, not very safe necessarily. Somebody could come by, smash the window out and take the baby. You never see the baby again. Thank you to Natalie, who says, eventually everyone going to get the virus. But you know what? I don't doubt it. Thank you to Georgia Peach, who says, thank you for just keeping it real. I look forward to my Saturdays with you. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you for sure. Thank you to Bob Gable, who says, haven't got the jab, but I might have to for my job. I'm thinking Moderna is the best option. Anyone have any thoughts of the 3 vaccines? Well, hey, you know me. I'm not going to get either one. The Johnson & Johnson, you don't want that because they took off the shelf, put the same thing back with a warning label on it. And the Pfizer's not very effective. Thank you for the tea. The Pfizer's not very effective, like 42% in July. And Moderna, I'm not really sure about its efficacy or whatever the case. But whatever you do, understand this, it's not necessarily going to be the end. They're probably going to say you got to take some more soon. Not really sure how soon, not really sure how many, but they're already talking about it in the media. Oh, if you're immunocompromised or whatever. So, hey, I'm sure there's ways to kind of get around that, but I won't say what they are right here because I'm an upstanding citizen. I follow the law. I follow all the rules, and that's it. Shout out to Ian, who says Obama signed in the NDAA fiscal year 2013 indefinite detention of American citizens especially the terrorism. Well, thank you to the out of the mud ministry Logan crew who says, yes, sir, Arnold the Punk made millions here because he couldn't do it in his country. There you go. We love and appreciate you, ABL, one Logan to another. Yeah, shout out to all the Logans out there. 1,000%. All right. Thank y'all again for being here. Couldn't do it without y'all. Let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And shout out to Leopard Bulls right quick for the donation who says, ABL, is the American experiment over? I don't think so. I think we're just having some problems that we got to work through. I don't think it's over. I think it's just being challenged by a lot of people that want to see it go down. But I tell you what, we're not going down without a fight from my point of view. I don't know about y'all. I can't speak for everyone, but we're not going down without a fight. That's how I look at it. So I don't think it's over with. It's just being challenged right now. And the question is, are we going to allow it to be challenged without any kind of kickback, without any kind of retaliation? Now, for anybody that's, any of the Google moderators, any of the DHS, shout out to all my FBI agents out there. If you're having a watch party right now in the field office, hey, shout out to y'all. I'm not advocating for any kind of violence. I'm never a violent person, but there's ways to fight back without fighting. Shout out to my man, Yuri Bezmenov. Again, I speak about him every show because what he said in 1984 was 1,000% real. A lot of what the KGB did was not even really about trying to get intelligence. It wasn't about this James Bond, I got a pistol in my pocket. It wasn't even about that. It's about trying to destroy people psychologically. We got to fight back with that, with information, with true facts, with reality. You got to fight people that want to subvert you and your mind and change reality by presenting reality. You got to fight back that way. Intellectually, trying to fight with fists ain't gonna do nothing. That's that January 6th. You see what they're doing right there. And they're trying to spin that whole thing into some kind of worst thing ever in the history of the country. I think they said that. They said it was the worst thing ever. I'm talking about worse than in any kind of civil war, slavery, everything. January 6th. See, that's that psychological conditioning to get normies to believe it. So anytime you talk about January 6th, it's an automatic, I got you. But I already saw that coming because I know how they operate. It's all about mind games they playing, and we can't let them win the mind game. We got to fight the mind game. That's how I look at it, but I digress. All right, the number to call, 434-658-1220. Let me get my Skype up and running. If it doesn't work, it's not my fault. You already know what time it is. Blame the white man for that one. All right, and let's get my, well, hold on. I'm messing up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do Skype first. And if it doesn't work, it's not my fault. Blame the white man. All right, let's go ahead and the phone calls are jumping. Let's go. I call you online. Speaker to 347.
Hello.
Yes, who am I speaking to?
My name is Jason from New York.
All righty, man. What's going on?
I just want to say thank you very much for everything you do, man.
No problem, man. Couldn't do it without y'all.
Yeah, man. I don't have any criticism. I don't have any comments or anything else, but I just want to say thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the call.
All right. Take care.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Short and sweet, straight to the point. Yeah, shout out to him. Let's get to the next one here. All right, caller, who am I speaking to on Skype?
Yeah, I'm Sandeep calling from India. Really like what you're doing on YouTube.
Thank you.
And yeah, I wanted to talk about the stuff going on in Afghanistan. America shouldn't be there at the first place, but the leaving the way they are left is, I think, very wrong. And what about the people who worked as intel for American army? They are screwed now. And the weapons, artillery, and all those stuff which are left behind is just they're there for Taliban. They'll use it against the people. It's just horrible, and it is unjust and unfair for the people who spend time and efforts in Afghanistan in those tough situations, and unjust and unfair for the army who laid their life in Afghanistan to America.
Yeah, it's really sad, really unfortunate. This is what happens when you don't have good people in leadership. They just do things that don't make any sense. This is what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And this Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, that he's just giving unsolicited, unwarranted medical advice on Twitter, and Twitter ain't going to do anything about it.
That's
he
right.
is saying stuff. Now reports are coming that COVID would be a seasonal stuff. You would have it every season, and now what? Screwed your freedom forever? What is just terrible? The people use slips, they say bullshit stuff. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I think that's probably the point, to try and use this to say, okay, no more freedom, and we can do whatever we want with you as an American citizen, and that's not what we want to do. It's just not going to happen. But I think that's the point he's trying to push, for sure.
Yeah. And now Afghanistan, I just want to say one more thing, that Afghanistan, the soil of Afghanistan now will be used against this, America. That it will be a new breeding ground for terrorists. What do you think America can do? Like, is there any way? Like, people now will use it against West. Do you think that is there any way around now? Should America come back? What should they do?
I mean, we can't really do much aside from just defend ourselves. And we have military somewhat close by, but we can't really do much because either we're going to be there or we're not going to be there. If we're not there, then we can't really control what happens there because we don't have boots on the ground. And so, but if we are there, it's going to be forever because the Taliban aren't going anywhere. That same sentiment is not going anywhere. So what are we going to do? Not much.
Yeah, America could have empowered the Afghani government. They could have trained the Afghanistan's army, or they could have helped the people there to empower themselves. Like, if these weapons, I think these Humvees, Black Hawks, they would have handed over to or sold to Afghanistan's army. It would have made more sense than just leaving behind just for Taliban.
See, that was the intention originally, is to train the Afghanistan army, and they tried, but it just didn't work, obviously, because the Taliban are always going to dominate in their country. Trying to have an American system with the army and whatnot just was not going to work. The Taliban are going to be dominant.
Okay. So, yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, I wanted to express my opinion. Thank you for having me. And keep doing what you're doing, dude.
All right, thank you for the
Great
call.
work.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, shout out to the caller from India. Yeah, getting them international calls. But yeah, the whole thing about the Afghan army, I mean, they're there. I think I saw one clip, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. But the clip was of, I think, the Afghan army trying to surrender to the Taliban, and the Taliban executed them, like, on camera after the Americans left. So it's like, what you going to do about that? The ideologies are different, and one ideology is dominant. So what can you really do? All right, let's get to the next call. And the phone lines are blowing up, just so you guys know. The phone lines are crazy. 83, oh, pardon me. It went, let's go to the next one. 214 on line with speaker 2.
Duke Raoul.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, ABL, it's Duke Raoul. You've seen me around for the last couple of years.
All righty, well, I'm glad to have you on the line. What's on your mind?
Hey, I am a retired United States Marine combat vet, disabled.
All righty.
I lost my left leg 40 years ago above the knee. It was in my kitchen this morning. The crutch broke underneath me. I went from 6'2" to landing on my tailbone. Called an ambulance. I called an ambulance, went to the local hospital. I don't wear masks. I have breathing issues. I explained that to them. They had a cow about it, called security, called the police, and threw me out of the hospital.
Oh my God, really?
I am as serious as a heart attack. And I am so angry. And then they threatened to arrest me if I didn't leave. I am sitting there literally with poop in my pants, one leg in my pajamas, and they're threatening to arrest me.
Wow.
This has gone a little too far. I am planning to find an attorney. If there's one out there, you can find me at my About tab on my YouTube channel. There's my email address. But I put a couple of things in the chat there, and I watch it religiously. But I just needed to say something. I'm sitting here by myself. I can't even get up to the toilet pee. And this is how we treat veterans. This is how we treat people. The mask was more important than helping me with my back, which is I can't move. It's just terrible. Anyway, I appreciate you answering for me.
I thank you for the call, and yeah, definitely sue, because you definitely are entitled to it. I mean, that's crazy. All over a mask. I mean, there's no law that says you have to wear a mask. And if there is a law, please show it to me, somebody. I love to see it. But no, you need to. You're having the issue, you're having a medical situation. They need to be serving you, and you're a veteran. You serve the country, but they don't want to serve you. It's crazy.
That's right. Well, like I said, I'll find an attorney, and I'm just wondering. I'm going to end up having to go back to the emergency room tomorrow. But I didn't. They put a trespass violation on me, and told me if I came back to the hospital, which is a asshole hospital in the first place, but that's where they take you. I'm going to hopefully get my 87-year-old father to drive me to the other hospital tomorrow if I can get to his car. And from my apartment to the parking lot, it's 100 feet. I mean, I'm darn good on crutches, but when my back feels like this, and like I said, I'm just livid with the whole thing. And anyway, appreciate talking to you, man. Great show.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Have a good one, brother.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, yeah, that lawsuit where they needs to go forward. You got a veteran that has back issues, leg missing. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a VA. He didn't say that part. But if that was a VA, then that's something else. Yeah, we got to get down to the bottom of that one for sure. All right, let me get to some more calls here. 330, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. About yourself?
Hello. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I hear you well. What's happening?
Love the show, man.
Oh, thank you.
Since day one, I think. Since you had those, you didn't have the wooden flags, you just had the regular flags.
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
Well, when you didn't wear a hat, and you was like a young buck.
Yeah, it's way back in the day. You've been around for a long time. I thank you for that, man. Appreciate it.
I just want to, I don't know, maybe ask people on there, or you maybe decide. I think you should once a month or once every 2 months have just straight calls, because I think I love how you talk. And I only fit 20 minutes or so. At least once in a while, have just straight calls, because I love all people calling in. And I love all the other people that are like, don't know what they're talking about, coming on there I just love all that stuff. It's a good show. I love how you're doing it. You're a patriot. I thought maybe you give that a shot or something. If you don't, that's fine. I'll still watch you. And
Well, thank you for the call, man, and your support. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep. Have a good one, bud.
All right, now, same to you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the callers. Yeah, I mean, I think about all ideas, all suggestions. It's all good. Let's get to a few more. Let's go. 720, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Andrew in Oregon.
Hey, Bill.
All righty, what's going on?
I oppose you on several points. I like you in general. I just want to say that so you can get the frustration. Anyway, so what I heard from someone who's old enough to be around in the Vietnam era was that Vietnam was actually won. They actually had a treaty which was signed, or a treaty that went before Congress, and it was supposed to be signed. And the Democrats, so it was I think the Chinese or the Communist Vietnamese side saying, you win, and here are the terms. It came before our government, and the Democrats opposed it. The media kept saying for years that the battle wasn't won, or that the war wasn't won. So they put it out to that we win, but we were actually doing well. And when it came here, we had the papers which said, we surrender or we agree to the terms, and then the Democrats wouldn't put their names on the line. They just handed over, gave the United States the points. So it was generated by the Democrats to make us lose for whatever crazy, creepy, horrible reason they have. And it tends to go along with the perspective that the media was giving at the time. In that time, we've actually been doing better. And I think we had gone further into Vietnam, further up into the territory. And then when they signed the paper, and then it was postponed, or it wasn't signed, they actually pushed us back into the other territory because we didn't say we win. Or
you're breaking up really. You're breaking up really bad. I'm not sure if you're on speakerphone or something like that. But basically, what you're saying is, But basically, what you're saying is that Vietnam had surrendered, but the Democrats didn't accept it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They had the paperwork in our government offices, and it was on. Everybody was voting, or everybody was signing off on it, and the Democrats were withholding that. And the media was putting out to the United States in general at the time that we had lost, and they had been putting out that slant to the story. I would say propaganda, but they've been putting it out for years or whatever. And in that time, since we didn't sign it, they actually pushed us back because we didn't accept it. We didn't sign it at that time. And we lost ground. And that was the time when Vietnam, they kept losing more support in the United States. So the media was putting out that we were losing, but we were actually doing better. But then there was less support and there's less stuff. There was more of a drawdown because they were like, okay, we won. But then, so they started like withdrawing forces or whatever. And that's when they pushed back because the Democrats wouldn't sign it because they wanted us to lose, maybe. And I'm just saying that, Democrats tend to go for the socialism, they tend to go towards communism, socialism. So that might be a reason. But that's something I heard from a teacher of mine who was around at the time. It tends to go along with that. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty crazy thing. I don't really have too much more to add. I don't have too much more to add.
Yeah. I also heard my dad, and I was for the Afghanistan. I was for the Iraq at the beginning, since 9/11. I was for it. And our reasons for it, which was supposed to be mass destruction, and this guy was killing and slaughtering them in the terrorist threat. So, and I know more information came out later, but someone that my dad knew had information that someone who was there on the front line so Trump wouldn't tell the forces in the Middle East that we were going to strike. He would strike and then say, hey, let's get permission. But something that Bush would do, which is what Obama would do, is he would forecast, or he would say, we're about to go here. So he would go through proper channels, which is going to be in the media. So all that information is going to come out. And we were asking for authorization to go into these places months prior to going in, saying we're looking for weapons of mass destruction. What we heard from people who had been there or been on the front lines, heard from people on the front lines, is what they did was we told them we're going to be going here. They went into the areas where they said there were actually weapons of mass destruction. When they went in, they found treads, they found scrapings in the ground, and divots that are in line with the kind of scaffolding or the kind of support.
I'm gonna cut in, but you got to kind of wrap it up. I got more calls.
Okay, that would be there for weapons of mass destruction. So we gave them time before we went in, and then by the time we got there, all you saw was the scrapings and the buildings and everything that were there that you would have had these weapons in, and they believe that those weapons were farmed out or put out to other locations so we wouldn't find them and whatever. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, have a good day. Thanks. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. And let's get to a few more. And the phone lines are jumping. Let's go. 717 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Moses. How you doing tonight?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm doing well, trying to wrap my head around this whole Arnold Schwarzenegger thing. Like, he should just stick to, his one-liners saying, get to the chopper or pick things up and put them down. He should just stick to that instead of saying, screw your freedoms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was really crazy for him to say that.
Yeah, and he came from Austria, so he should cherish his freedoms. But anyways, I have two rapid-fire questions that I wanted to ask you. First question is, you had said something about the mainstream media being a dying breed, that eventually it's going to die off. Let's just say, whatever happens in the future, one of these mainstream media news networks would have to go. Which news network do you think would be the first on the chopping block?
CNN right away, instantly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking too. Speaking on that, did you read a article? I don't know how reliable Yahoo News is, but supposedly next year, CNN may or may not be sold.
Okay, so who would they get sold to is the question.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm wondering.
Because if they get sold to like the same type of people that they already are, then it's like it's a lateral move. It wouldn't actually make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard that they're like and this was pre-pandemic. I read this article. Time Warner and AT&T own CNN basically. So they're in debt right now. So I guess they're looking to sell, but whoever buys it, I don't know. So it's just an article that I read, and you said CNN for sure would be the first to go. Mm-hmm. I just thought sometime next year they may be sold.
Well, hopefully so. Hopefully they get sold and they get put in the shoebox, never to be seen again, because they are the absolute worst. Terrible.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, especially with Chris Cuomo. He in terms of journalism, I'm going to say this about you. You're a 10 out of 10 on the Richter scale. Chris Cuomo is a negative 10 out of 10. I can say that for sure. So this will be my final question, and I'll wrap a nice bow on top for you. Let's just say you had the opportunity to expand your horizons, like expand beyond the podcast and YouTube. Would you consider having your own news network on TV? Because you have the face for a TV, man. I could see you being on TV, but would you take that opportunity, or do you feel comfortable where you're at?
TV, I'm not really sure, because TV, I feel like is more of a hassle than it's actually worth. I mean, unless you could be on a really big platform on television. But aside from that, I think that the internet is probably better because you have fewer restrictions. You get FEC, FCC, all kind of stuff. You get all other things going on with television that you don't have. I mean, that you don't have online. So I think the online space is better. I like to be able just to grow more here and to grow more, just beyond television or internet, just to grow more in the world. That's probably what I like to do.
Yeah, exactly. And something I want to say to the chat, like, comment, share, and subscribe to this guy. I want to see ABL with 1 million subscribers. I'm serious, man. You got our support, and God is watching over you, man. We appreciate your work. So, as you would say, peace, and God bless you, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, television is cool sometimes. Like, I like to be a guest on television. I said before that actually CNN, they emailed me. Well, it wasn't CNN. It was HLN. And this is a long time ago. This is when I first had really got cracking. Back in 2017, they emailed me, like early 2017. They emailed me asking if I wanted to audition to be on a show with SC Cup. This is way back then, to be like one of the panelists. It's like, why would I do that? And I got my own thing going. You know, yeah. People ask me, like, back in the day, I used to get a lot of questions about, do I want to go on Fox News and be over there? It's like, why? Why would I want to be an employee at Fox News when I got my own thing going here? I have more flexibility and more freedom than they do on Fox. Fox is still mainstream media. They have a lot of things they got to do. You know, like the thing that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, Fox is a good network, and because it's the only conservative network on television. They're not perfect, but there's what else is there, really? I mean, you may have Newsmax and whatnot, but that's not really widely viewed. It's not a big platform. But what turned me off was when I saw Brett Baer. I forget who he was talking to. It might have been Tom Cotton or somebody, one of these politicos. And at the end of their talk about something, Brett Baer was like, well, answer me this question. Do you think that Trump fairly and freely won the election? And the way he was asking it was like, there's only one answer. You can't say no. You got to say yes. I was like, really, on Fox is what we doing? And they do stuff like that a lot. So, but I don't have to do that because I'm not beholden to Rupert Murdoch and his boys. That's just, I can do me, you see? But I digress. Let's get to some more calls. Let's go. 845 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, what's going on? ABL, this is Alex J. I just want to let you know that you're my favorite streamer in the whole entire world. And I just want to let you know that you're the only person that gives me so much hope. And I'm so glad that you do what you do. And I just hope that you keep doing what you do. And I figured I'd call you just to let you know that, you know, you're amazing. And just please keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Well, thank you for the call and your support. Couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, thank you so much, ABL. Thank you so much. Have a good night and have a good stream, okay? Good night.
Thank you. Great call. Love the support. 100%. Love the support. Let's get to some more calls. And you guys know the drill. The number to call, 434-658-1220. There's also a Skype email. You can call me on Skype. You can be right here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and you can talk to me that way for sure. And let's get to some more. Wow, the calls are jumping. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? Just to, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he, like I said, he's one of these fake, never Trump Republicans who don't really stand up and fight for anything that the Republican Party values. He's just one of these milquetoast Republicans who are one of these, we're going to put everything aside for the betterment of America, but all they do is push establishment talking points and then crap on Americans trying to make the country better or trying to do something radically different that's destroying the country. So, he's one of these never Trumpers. So I'm not shocked when Arnold Schwarzenegger says what he said about the mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, screw your rights. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only Republicans who you see on TV. And they always go on liberal networks and sell out. And to me, it's just like, this is why I'm looking at the Republicans, because we got too many sellouts and traitors in the Republican Party. I mean, even that, you know who Anna Navarro is, right?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, why does she keep going And to me, like I said, I think this is psychological warfare against conservatives. Why does she keep going on TV saying that she's a Republican? Like, bro, like to me, when I see her do that, I truly think that these fake, and I would even call them liberals in disguise, they just do that to sow discord. Bro, have you ever heard Anna Navarro say anything bad about Democrats? Just one thing.
No, never.
She was even for she was against Brett Kavanaugh. Like she's not for any of Trump's judges. She like, and I'm just like, I'm thinking she's like, well, I love John McCain. I'm, like I said, milk toast Republicans, and I'm really hoping that, like I said, Trump supporters are seeing this because, like I said, we know liberals are going to live. They are going to lie. They are going to distort. They are going to be hypocritical. But it's worse when someone who wears our same colors do it. And I hope, like I said, I always bring this on your channel. I hope the Trump supporters are paying attention. Like, we shouldn't be having these silly conversations about, well, if something happened to Biden, Kamala Harris will get impeached. So what? It doesn't even matter if Kamala Harris said they're all going to push liberal, retarded agendas. So it doesn't matter who is there. Our goal should be, how can we gain power? That's where our goal should be. Our goal should be, we taking out all these traitors' names, and we're going to have a big upset in 2022 because we cannot afford to lose the House in 2022. Like, seriously, like, you see CRTs being pushed. Nothing is being done about illegal immigration. The whole transgender LGBT thing is just getting out of control. Cancel culture, censorship is out of control. Something has got to be done about these social media companies. And I'm not too much for government intervention, but I'm like, something has to be done with, your civil rights are being infringed. I don't know. Something has to be done. But right now, the only party that can do it, in my opinion, is the Republicans. Anybody running under a Democrat name, even these fake these Democrats in these quote unquote red states trying to say that they have some Republican, but they don't need to be in office, nowhere near office. So yeah, man, Anna Navarro, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Megan Lane McCain. Like I said, these Republicans, they're just designed to be these quote unquote balanced Republicans where they're pushing the establishment agenda. And I hope and I pray Trump supporters are not falling for this nonsense. And that's all I gotta say, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Great call. Very good. Yeah, a lot of these, that's a point to make right there. A lot of these so-called Republicans, I mean, it's like, are you Republican really? You Mitt Romney's of the world, Anna Navarro. That's the funniest thing. Anna Navarro says nothing but liberal talking points whenever I see her on television, all the time. So how is she a Republican? Republican where? Republican in name only. That's the definition of it right there. If Rhino was in a dictionary, Republican in name only, Anna Navarro should be right next to it for a prime example. 667 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, brother. This is Deshaun Jones. Can you hear me?
I hear you well.
All right. Hey, brother. This is first-time caller. I really appreciate your work, man. And I just want to say that the last caller was absolutely right, man. He was absolutely spot on that this is psychological warfare, verbatim. Excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. Didn't expect to actually get on this quick, but yeah, this is absolutely, and you're right too, ABL. You're absolutely right. This is Yuri Bezmenov. I forget what the timeline was, but more or less 20 years to subvert America through ideological subversion rather than, I guess you would say, physical warfare.
Right.
Because just like the Afghanistan thing, anyone with common sense would understand and could know that when you leave something behind and you withdraw that fast and you don't allow your people to clean up, so to speak, they would, that's the I don't know the word right now. I'm still a little nervous, but more or less it's them supplying them with guns. You know, so I just wanted to say that really quick, man. I really appreciate your work. I've been following you for a long time, man. Keep going. Keep doing what you got to do, brother. Stay blessed. Have a good one.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right, good call. Yeah, this whole Afghanistan retreat, not done very well at all. Not done very well. If you're going to do it, just do it properly. That's it. Not saying you shouldn't leave, but let's leave the right way. 480, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's Chuck from Arizona. How's it going tonight?
Everything's going good. About yourself?
Doing pretty good. Just got off work, watching your show here, enjoying. God bless all the viewers, yourself. And I'm really disturbed by that story that guy told from the hospital and the post that you brought up from the news article. That's pretty insane that if anybody practices a religious holiday, they're now a potential terrorist. I'm talking all this Afghanistan war and everything like that. But I wanted to bring up about Arnold. I did a little bit of Google or YouTubing last night, watching some of his old interviews, because from what I remember, he loved America and he loved everything about it, and that's why he wanted to come here. And so I thought it was really odd that now he has this stance on freedom. And I found out that he didn't train at all for health or fitness. The only reason he did it is because he wanted to be a winner, basically, just wanted to win. So he would work out so much at the age of 15 that he would literally collapse in the gym. And in that same video where he's talking, screw your freedom, he says that he's an expert in building biceps and expert in exercising. Yet he would collapse at the age of 15. He built his life on 3 pillars when he was younger: hard work, self-confidence, and positive thinking. Now he looks strictly at masks, social distancing, and washing your hands. But I say his overall stance, which liberals again are blurring the lines of this, my body, my choice kind of thing. His overall stance is like an organ donor, like being forced to give their organs, or a blood donor being forced. In my opinion, it's kind of blurring the lines, like with my body, my choice. Like there's a baby inside you, so it's not your body, right? And they're like, oh, it's my body, my choice. Like, no, you're getting it wrong again, because this vaccine doesn't affect you, it affects me. So this is something that's going to personally affect me, and you're making fun of me because you think it's the same thing. Well, no, you're blurring the lines again. This isn't the my body, my choice, like abortion, because abortion isn't that. So again, you're getting the narrative completely wrong by trying to make fun of people in that direction. But while I was doing all this, I also found out that Wikipedia says that he will be the governor of 2021, or that he is right now. Not that he will be, that he was elected the governor of 2021, which I thought was pretty funny. But I don't know. What do you think about that stance as far as like, an organ donor being forced, like as far as a health pandemic? If there's blood loss, or if there's, people losing their organs, and they're like, yeah, you just got to give us your kidney. You only need one of them. In a sense, like, oh, you have to take this vaccine to make sure that I'm healthy, right? Like you have to give blood to make sure I'm healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what it would go to.
I see that as an extreme.
Yeah, but that's how it happens though. It starts with things that don't seem to be as extreme as what the extreme could be, and then they eventually progress into the extremes. That's how it always does. It's just the same thing with this whole gay marriage. Right when they legalize gay marriage, I'm like, okay, I know where this is going. They're gonna go all the way. Then they're gonna talk about the transgender stuff, and then they're gonna talk about kids. Now we've gone so far where you have children dancing in gay clubs with their shirts off. So it's like, see how far that went in a very short period of time. If I was to say that would happen before gay marriage became legal, somebody may say, hey, man, you just doing too much, man. That's the extreme. That would never happen. But here we are talking about it.
Yep. I mean, I just was thinking, what is this going to where your health is more important than, where I am? Like, why am I affecting you at this point? I don't really do much. And then you're going to come around and tell me I have to start doing something to make sure that you're okay. Like, well, you should take care of yourself. You shouldn't be 300 pounds and overweight and have diabetes and I don't know, like all this stuff that you do to yourself. I've lived my life to where I'm not in that much fear of this because I'm not on the bad side of it. But there's a reason for that when you look at the people who have died. That's mostly comorbidity. So I mean, the age for the common death of coronavirus in the United States is the same age for the common death in the United States. So it's old age, you know what I mean, that's mainly doing it. But if it's not, then it's the people being unhealthy. And now, you got these fat blue-haired liberals coming up and saying you have to take a vaccine, you have to give me your organs, you have to give blood. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to go to. So I thought it was funny. I appreciate you again. I got to say, hasta la vista, baby. Super sad that, I grew up and I seen the Terminator in theaters when I was a little kid. I seen Arnold as a cool guy and liked America. And then, you wake up one day and everybody hates America, who back in the day you looked up to. It's time to start making some new heroes, and you're one of them, ABL. I appreciate you for what you do, and I hope you have a good night, man.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, good call. Shout out to him. And we got a bunch of more calls on the line. Thank y'all for joining. Couldn't do it without y'all. All right, it's Skype caller. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Andrew.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not a lot, man. How are you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, so I was kind of going to touch on Arnold a little bit myself, too, if I could.
Go for it.
All right, I was going to say, as a child growing up in the 90s, I, too, always thought of him as, like, kind of the, cool macho man American hero. And it's just kind of sad to see him turn out to be such a loser and such a commie. Never would have thought that the guy that, like, stand up for the little guy in the movie would, really be all about trampling on the little man. He seems to be on the side of people that are in control right now. And they seem to be on top. How do you feel about that? I mean, are you a big Arnold fan yourself?
No, not really. not really an Arnold fan. I mean, the most I know about Arnold really is the movies, Terminator, all of that. Get to that chopper. That's all I really know. All the other stuff, the political stuff, I don't know anything about. I just know what he said here, and that was just ridiculous. That was way above and beyond crazy.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny to be an immigrant to this country. And that's my thing is, like, I've lived here my whole life, and, I accepted him as being this great guy and thinking, like, he accepted our values and, like, that's something to look up to. He lived that American dream. And, I just, like, that's so respectable. And then you hear him say something so disgusting and vile that, it just really makes me, like, consider, like, I've never been one to, like, boycott things or just not buy things, but it's really an eye-opener for putting those, idolizing people, for sure.
Right.
But, yeah, that's all I really wanted to say, and I appreciate you letting me ramble on for a few minutes.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
Yeah, Arnold. Yeah, that's the thing. I like when people follow the law and they legally immigrate. It's a great thing. You following the law, you're doing the right thing. Cool. You legally immigrate, you're bringing something to the nation. Great. But when you do that and then you do Ilhan Omar and then you want to hate on the nation and bring negative things to the nation, it's like, what are we doing here? You saying forget your freedom, screw your freedom. That's what this whole country was built on. That's why you're able to be here. Because in some countries, ain't no immigration. Ain't no you can become part of society like you just a regular person that's here. Try going to China and doing that. You can't try going to China as a foreigner and becoming part of the government. Try doing that. Try having more than one party. Like, there's a lot of freedoms here that people take for granted, and at the same time will say, screw that, we don't want that. But if not for those things, you wouldn't even be here to enjoy your life. The life you have wouldn't be possible without these freedoms. But people just take it for granted. They don't really care, unfortunately. Let me get to the next one. 386 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Good evening, ABL. This is Cody calling from Colorado Springs.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Nothing much, sir. Just slowly but surely taking it in every day by the day, and just being ashamed of what I'm seeing around me. Listen to familiar who Paul Harvey Sr. is, correct?
You said Paul Harvey Sr.?
Yeah.
That name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure who that is.
Former ABC broadcaster. Made the very famous "If I Were the Devil" speech.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well, about an hour ago, I revisited that speech, and I think it was the first time that speech really shook me to my core, because unlike everything in that speech, it's happening right now in the present day as we're speaking, and it's very tragic. Currently, active duty military, and I've seen some of your episodes covering what's going on, and yes, they are making the jabs. They're making that mandatory if you are in the military. Unfortunately, it's
I think the roadblock there is the federal law that says you can't mandate experimental drugs. So they are trying to wait on the drug to become approved by the FDA, and then they want to mandate it at that point.
Right. Right now, the date that they're giving is September 15th. At first, it was September 1st. Now they're saying September 15th. It's absolutely, it's just getting ridiculous. Like, now with military, you cannot deploy, or if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure there's some people probably listening that might crucify me later if I'm wrong, but don't quote me on it. But supposedly you can't go to like big training center locations such as Fort Irwin or Fort Polk unless you're vaccinated, or you can't deploy unless you're vaccinated. Every day I come into work, I put on that uniform, and the moment I start to feel a little bit of pride, the moment I start to really love what I'm doing, it just all gets tarnished and shut down because I keep seeing COVID propaganda and vaccine propaganda all over the damn base, pardon my language, and how now they're separating us from vaccinated and unvaccinated when you conduct PT. Like when you go to PT in the morning, you show up, salute the flag, and then you'll carry on with PT at 6:30 in the morning. At least that's the time for most spaces. And now they're starting to separate you. All right, vaccinated, you're going to PT with this group. If you're unvaccinated, you're going to PT with this group. And now there's a lot of people, and it's really sad because there's a lot of people in the military got the jabs because they were just tired of wearing the masks. And as soon as they found out, hey, I don't have to wear the mask anymore, I'll say less. I'm going to go get my shot now. Because in the military, we're very common. It's very common to just take whatever vaccine you have to take prior to going to training or on a deployment. Like me, I've gotten typhoid, yellow fever, anthrax. I lucked my way out of the smallpox one. I'm not going to say what I did, but I got out of the smallpox one. And that's something that's been eradicated for years, as you know.
Yes.
But they still want to get people to take it. And that one's just nasty. It's like 15 little pokes in your arm. It's disgusting. And now they changed it because our glorious Secretary of Defense, with his new guidance, now everybody's wearing a mask indoors all over again. Even some people higher in the chain of command are livid because that was the sole reason why they got the vaccine, so they didn't have to wear masks. And I don't know about you, but being forced to wear your mask unvaccinated and expect to go on a 4-mile run, it's either they're trying to kill you, pretty much just about kill you into submission to get it, because I actually ran a 4-miler with a mask.
So you're having to run 4 miles with a mask on the entire time.
Yeah. So if you're not vaccinated whatsoever, you have to wear a mask whether you're indoors or outdoors, even for PT.
Wow.
Like a certain person high in our chain of command, at a very lower level that affects me, is very hard on that type of stuff. Like Article 15, which is like, it's a non-judiciary punishment. You can get your rank taken away, you can get your pay taken away. First week taking command, they handed out like 6 of them because people's masks weren't properly being worn. It like slightly below the nose, took it down and scratched the face. Oh my gosh, like it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's like a personal thing for them, or it's just when it comes from the sec def all the way down, it's like at the same time they don't really have a choice, unfortunately, which is tragic for them. But at the same time, I'm so tired of this narrative, like with these high-level commanders saying that we need to help protect the unvaccinated. That's the new slogan: protect the unvaccinated, protect these service members that are unvaccinated. Yeah, it's all propaganda. That's not what they actually believe, as you know, because of how our SecDef is. Whatever he says goes. And it doesn't help that the commander-in-chief is Sleepy Old Joe. But in conclusion, it's absolutely getting ridiculous. And I believe if it becomes FDA approved and if they still refuse to get it, there's going to be a chapter process. Chapter means getting kicked out. And the question I'm left with myself is like, well, what happens? Because I know there's a lot of people, I want to say 2/3 of the military, that are against getting it. What happens if they all get chaptered out? What if they actually go ahead and do that? Now you'll severely weaken the numbers of the military. It's
right.
It's absolutely mind-boggling. Like, it's just like, well,
I hear you. I'm gonna cut you off, but I got a few more calls on the line I want to get to. But I'm right on there. I'm right with you, man. So I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem, ABL. Keep what you're doing. You have a great night.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
It's crazy. So you got to run 4 miles with a mask on. It's like, what's the purpose? Like, how is that really gonna? It's just the policy does not make sense. Maybe it's just me, but it doesn't make any sense. 714, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 714, hello. 714, can't hear you if you're speaking. All right, I don't know what happened. Got to put some minutes on the Obama phone, get the jank tightened up, get it charged up. I don't know what's happening. Let's get to some more calls here, though. The number to call, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box below. 305 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Awesome. I got through. Amazing. Anthony Brian Logan. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear you well.
Excellent. My name is Simon. and I'm calling from the state of Washington, brother. I had a message for you and all my fellow humans and all my fellow Americans and all my fellow patriots. We should learn from Anthony's bravery. He's showing his face and he's speaking truth and reason, unafraid. Do you know why? Because we are all on the side of good. We are all on the side of reason. So we need to shine the truth every day and not kneel down, because once we start living like that, they will always find an excuse to keep us kneeling down. So the same way we know that pedophilia is evil, we don't let them, another human being, tell us that we need to perform evil deeds or masking our children or mandatory experimental injections. The same way we know that animals are to be loved and respected and you don't abuse animals or children, we know in our heart and in our soul what is correct. We do not let another human being direct our choices. So we must not comply. My family is from Colombia in South America, where there is a lot of unfairness and people do not have laws the way we have in the United States of America. And they're trying to take all of those protective measures away, like the Constitution.
Yes.
And if we let them little by little, there will be no future in any place on planet Earth. And I just wanted all the fellow patriots and all the people listening and you to continue to stand for righteousness no matter what. Even if you lose your job, you will figure it out. Because remember, if you comply now with this, then they're going to force you to comply with something else.
That's right.
Do not dishonor your soul. We know what is right and what is wrong, and they're trying to force us into the wrong. And we need to stand smiling, fighting for what is right, because we are on the side of God. Whichever God you believe in, you are free to believe in any God. Jesus is my God, and we know what is right and what is wrong, and we are not slaves. My friend, thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you and to be on your show. I always watch you. You are a modern day warrior angel. Thank you, brother. Bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it. Great call. Shout out to my man for the call. Yeah, he's right. It's like, hey, if you don't draw a line that's saying right here, it's going to be the next thing. It's going to be something else. And we know how crazy they get with it. So let's not have this go on for sure. And shout out to the mods. Please, mods, do not hide people so easily, because you do that and it's permanent. I have to go back and unhide them if they ever want to get seen again in the chat. So please don't do that just easily. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you've not done so just yet. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe right now. Subscribing is 1000% free, and I appreciate you if you did do that. But let's get to the next call. Let's try. All righty, let's go. 563, you know, line. Who am I speaking to?
Anthony Brian Logan, man. It's Jeremiah. Love that opening song of yours, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, I was just calling to pretty much just say, hey, thank you. I really appreciate you telling me a little bit about Prince and how he kept the stuff off YouTube. I looked into that. It was such interesting. And I tell your crowd, everybody that's watching, to look into that. It's some interesting story.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak. People, they do things differently because it benefits them however kind of way. I think what he did was just he didn't go along with what the industry thought would be the best thing for him to do.
Yeah, and you want to talk about the industry a little bit? Because I listened to that podcast with Joe Rogan and Kanye West, and Kanye kind of talked about how the industry is like a debt, like it makes all these rappers just take this crazy amount of debt to sign to this label, you know?
Oh, yeah, like the record label, that's a thing of the past, because what the labels would do is they give you a loan on your own money. They give you a cash advance. It's like getting a payday loan. That's what they would do. And your objective as an artist is to make it up. And they have these contracts to where you got to do pretty much everything to get paid back. So a lot of these artists from back in the 90s or whatever, they would think they're not really getting paid anything and they're just performing and not getting paid. But it's like, no, you did get paid. Remember that hotel room you got? Remember those bottles of champagne? Remember the lobsters and whatnot, the tour bus? That's your money.
Yeah.
That's not our money. That's your money. And you work to pay all that money back. The music video budgets, it was crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would do the same, if I would think about it the same as a musician. That's a difficult position. It's such being, you go to school for anywhere from 4 to 12 years to get a career and something that you're trying to do to make a life off of. And some of these people are just getting a career and they're making all this money. They have no idea what the debt they're getting into. It's such an interesting topic to look into. And for you to bring up Prince last time we talked, that was so enlightening for me to look into. And I really appreciate that, ABL. Thanks, man.
Oh, no problem.
So, hey, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Governor what's his name? Cuomo?
Cuomo.
Cuomo. Jeez Louise. What's going on with that guy? Like, what can you just, for instance, like, why didn't he why does it take so much pressure for him to resign? He should have resigned when those old people died, when he put him back into the old person's home with the COVID, you know?
Yeah, because I think certain things take precedent, unfortunately. The senior citizens is not really a big deal, but when you get caught up in the Me Too movement and that whole situation, all of a sudden, now that's a big deal. It's pretty weird how that works.
Hey, ABL, keep your hands to yourself, okay? We can't go losing you too. All right, man. Hey, look, I get that. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but that's just, I can't believe the Me Too movement is more powerful than killing people with COVID.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be at all.
Why does it take, bad taste in the workplace, not safe for work, NSFW? Why is that more important than if while you're at work you kill so many old people by putting them back into the homes? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I hear you there. And I just saw that was one of your topics. I thought we'd bring that up. But, hey, you have a great night. Thanks for taking the call.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
See you.
All righty. And shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, like I was saying, I think I said it on my social media. It's a shame that the Me Too movement takes precedent over deceased seniors, but that's how it is politically. Deceased seniors ain't no problem. We'll cover that up. Me Too movement, ain't nobody dead. Just, I got kissed on the cheek and it was inappropriate. Oh, we got to go ahead and resign. That's just what that is. Let's get to some more. Let's go. 503 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, like I'm saying. Hello?
Yes, 503. Who am I speaking to?
This is Cody Goings.
All righty. What's happening?
What's going on, ABL? Hey, I just wanted to kind of chit-chat and talk about some crazy stuff that happened where I'm from the other day. I'm from Portland, just so everybody knows, too. We're kind of a hotbed of the Antifa movement, unfortunately, and everything that's going on there. This last Saturday, we had a Christian group. They were a religious group. They weren't affiliated. The mainstream media and the news, even our local news, has been calling them, Proud Boys, the Proud Boys. I've seen a couple different streamers that were there. They weren't affiliated with any group. This was a honest Christian group. This was a church group. They had children, right? They had children with them. I can't remember how many kids were there, but they were like 8 years old. They were just children. Well, long story short, Antifa showed up. Antifa shows up. They start throwing fireworks, throwing smoke bombs and pepper spray, and they pepper sprayed the freaking pastor.
Wow.
They threw the fireworks. The ornaments hit a child. These fireworks actually hit a child, burned a child. Another thing about this story here, one of the ladies that I was streaming, I think her name was Mary Todd on her YouTube channel. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say that, but she was streaming, and she was a black woman. She's a black woman. She was telling them, because, you know, it's Antifa, and they kept screaming, no KKK. That's what they were saying. You all need to get out of Portland. You're KKK, no racist USA, KKK. And she was telling them, how can you say I'm in the Ku Klux Klan when I am a black woman? Right. You're calling me a white. How does that work? Anyway, so they were throwing fireworks. They hit a child with fireworks. The media hasn't even covered it. They haven't even, you look at all of our local news channels, not even talking about it. And what they are saying is they're saying that the Proud Boys showed up downtown. It just blows my mind. It confuses me how these left-wing thugs, these left-wing goons can show up to a peaceful family, a family event and attack them. That's like attempted murder. They threw fireworks. They threw these loud, not just little fireworks either, my man. We're talking, those mortars, like big. It just blows me. It could kill a child. And so, they had children just running away, and it bothers me to see. I've lived in Portland my whole life. I think the last caller, you said he was from Washington. So I'm third generation, born and raised. And unfortunately, yes, we are a very liberal, area here in the Northwest. But I have never seen in my life, now I'm only 25, but I have never seen in my life this type of violence, this type of aggression where people can just go out and attack you and try to kill you. And we've had killings, we've had shootings, during the riots. And it just blows my mind. And it's sad that we're at this point in our country where communism, so my grew up in the 50s, he's almost 70. He grew up in that era where the duck and cover drills, where communism was a threat. But it was never really in our streets like this, in our school systems, the indoctrination.
The issue is this. The problem is that Antifa, local news media, they're pretty much one and the same. They're on the same page. This is why the media will talk about, it's the Proud Boys, and then not even talk about Antifa that much because they're all the same. The same people and you might even see some of the same people that work at a news station will go out there and engage in an Antifa so-called
in
protest.
The black bloc, right?
Yeah, they put on the black bloc too. I won't be surprised at all if you saw that happen.
Yeah, it's sad, man. And like I said, I've lived in Portland. I'm born and raised. My whole family's living, and I've never seen. It makes me sad. It really does. The fact that they attacked children, that says it all. That to me says it all. Who? What kind of person, what kind of human is going to go out and throw things and curse and yell at children and children of color? They want to talk about how they support Black lives, right? That they support Black lives. How can you say that you support Black lives, that you support people of color when you're out there throwing things and attacking people of color? Just because because they voted for Trump, because they care about America, because they care about our country. It just blows my mind. It's sad. So I just kind of wanted to call in and share a little bit about what had happened recently here. And it's sad, man. Well, pray for Portland, man. Pray for the Northwest.
Definitely, yeah, because you guys most certainly need it, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you, ABL. Appreciate everything you do, man, for keeping the news, keeping it honest for us, man. At least we have somewhere to go to get some kind of honest, unbiased information. So I appreciate what you do, man. Keep it up. Thank you, man.
Appreciate
ABL.
it. All right, great call. Yeah, it's crazy. Portland, Oregon, like the whole leadership there is like Antifa. And to let you know how crazy it is, remember when, what was that, Ted Wheeler, the mayor? I guess he was about to get, it was another election, and he had a debate with like a mayoral candidate, other candidates. And here he is next to this woman who says she is Antifa. They asked her, "Are you Antifa?" "Yes, I am Antifa." And she had on this skirt with the leaders of communist regimes on it. Pol Pot, Idi Amin. Matter of fact, hold on. Antifa, Portland, mayoral candidate, but I think it should pop up when I do it here. Because I know exactly what I'm trying to find. Yeah, here we go. So her name, Sarah Lemonade. I don't know. What's her name? Hold on. In the IRO, some weird random name. Probably not even a real name. All right. So let's call her Sarah I for now. So here's a picture I want to show you guys. I did a video about this. I don't know when this was, last year or something like that, when it popped up. But this is her, right? And you see this little skirt. So she has on a Sarah shirt. I guess she's out there campaigning or whatever. And take a look at this skirt. Who's that? It looks like Mao. And right there, who's that? Who's that? You have all the communist leaders on this skirt. And she's out on the campaign trail like this with her shirt on with her name on it. So it's not like she's hiding, taking pictures and everything. This is a campaign stop. She's like this. So imagine your choices are Ted Wheeler. Ted Wheeler looked like a normie. She made Ted look like Ronald Reagan out there. Or like a normie. She made him look like Jeb Bush out there. Which is crazy because Ted Wheeler's trash too. But she's much worse. You're talking about a guy that drinks beer after work versus a mainline heroin shooter. But that's a different story. Anyway, get to the calls. 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get into it. And the phone lines are jumping. I'm going to try to get to you guys as soon as possible. Y'all just hang tight. Hold on 1 second. Now it's starting to kind of just get clogged up. All right. Let's go. 760, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. My name's Bill.
All righty, Bill. What's happening?
I wanted to talk a little bit about that bill that they're trying to pass, possibly. Say you're a 50-year-old person, you've never had a speeding ticket, honest as can be, tax-paying, law-abiding citizen. Just because you don't want to wear a mask or you voted for Trump, suddenly you're going to be a terrorist? Is that how they're trying to get rid of the opposition?
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it's how how do they pull that off? It's so ridiculous. I just don't get it.
I mean, it shouldn't really be a surprise to any of us because we see what they do. We saw what they did with the whole January 6th thing. Anybody that's a Trump supporter, anybody that voted for Trump, it didn't matter if you were anywhere near Washington, D.C. You could have been somewhere completely on the opposite side of the planet. But if you are a conservative, that means that you were trying to overthrow the government. They want to cast all of us with this big broad brush and then just try to get rid of us so they can move forward with their plan. Any kind of opposition, any kind of deterrent needs to be eliminated. And then also it's kind of like intimidation. When they put out a terror threat saying, hey, if you're against the COVID restrictions, you're a terrorist, people might say, you know what, it's not worth fighting that fight. I don't want to be considered a terrorist. I don't want to go to the penitentiary.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to beat everybody in submission. If it isn't one thing, it's another. They just keep, pulling things out of thin air until everybody finally conforms. And if that isn't communism, I don't know what is.
Exactly, 100%.
That's all I had to say. Let you get on to some other callers. Thanks.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's a great point to make. Put everybody on a list or intimidate them thinking that they are on a list. It might not even be a list, but the intimidation, the fear factor behind it is enough to get some people in line. It's like that meme or that picture, I suppose, might be a meme, but that horse that had been trained to be tied to a post and not move, because if they try to move, they can't go anywhere because they're tied to the post. It got to the point where they could tie the horse to a plastic chair and the horse still wouldn't move because the horse is thinking, this is a post. I'm not going to be able to move anywhere. What's the point in going? Like, that's kind of what it is. It's the same thing. There may not be a list you're going to be on, but they think that you think there's going to be a list and you don't want to do anything because you're afraid. That's how they get you mentally. Psychological subversion. That's the whole game we're playing, which is what I said from the very beginning. That's the kind of battle we got to fight, is mental, not physical. All righty, 861, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Anthony, how you doing? It's Paul from Bong Joe, man. How you doing?
Everything is good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. Really sorry to hear about Schwarzenegger. You know, I've been liking him since I was a young boy, and to hear him say that's just threw me back. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. I came across an article on AmericanConservative.com. I wanted to chat with you about. I took a liking to it. Very well written article, but I'm not completely sold on it. Maybe you can help. Maybe you can help sell me. So the title of the article is America's Information Aristocracy.
Okay.
Okay. And the guy's name is Kevin Frazier, and basically he's saying that the elite in America have access to information, public information, not CIA reports or FBI reports or like government information, but it's public information. The elite in America have access to public information that the poor don't have. And I wrote down a couple of key points in the article, and I want you to kind of dissect it and see if you agree, and maybe you can help sell me on it, because I'm not completely sold.
Okay.
One point he says that access to the internet is correlated with income. And a lot of poor, so what is he saying here? Like, a lot of poor people back home have internet access. I mean, you can go to ghettos, you can go to projects, you can go to dilapidated houses, and people still have internet. Wi-Fi is not expensive. You can get Wi-Fi for $20 a month. So he said he seems like a very smart guy. It's a very well written article. But what does he mean when he says access to the internet is correlated with income?
I don't understand that thought process. Maybe it's something very specific, but it can't just be access to the internet in general, because if you're talking about people that own desktop computers and have super high speed internet, that's one thing that could be considered, that could be tied to wealth depending upon where you live. I mean, where I live, you have this company called EPB, and for $68 a month, you can get the gigabit internet, 1,000 up, 1,000 down, 1,000 megabytes up, 1,000 megabytes down. For $70 a month, you get that. So, and if you can't afford that, you can get the 100 up, 100 down for like $35 or something like that. And even if you don't have access to necessarily high-speed Ethernet plug-in internet with a desktop computer, you still have your phone. Everybody has a phone. Even if you don't have an iPhone or something like that, it costs $1,000. You can still get one of these free, almost free phones from Metro PCS. I have Metro PCS myself, and it's not a big deal because it's still on the T-Mobile tower. It's still fast. You can still get 5G internet, which is very fast. So I don't really understand that whole excuse.
Yeah, neither do I. A couple more of his points, then I'll let you go. Another key point he made, he says that wielding the internet as a means of expression is largely confined to those with higher socioeconomic status. And I read that, I'm like, okay, anybody can jump on TikTok and put out their little video. Anybody can make a video on YouTube. Anybody can make a video on, anybody can start a Twitter account and post, whatever you want to post. How is wielding the internet as a means of expression is largely confined to those with higher socioeconomic status. Are you sold on that?
Say it one more time for me, because I didn't really catch it.
Okay. Wielding the internet as a means of expression is largely confined to those with higher socioeconomic status.
Yeah, I don't really understand how that makes any sense, because really the people that have high economic status aren't really the ones that express themselves that much on the internet. People that have a lot of money, like where I live, they're up in the mountain. You really don't see them too much on the internet at all. They do their business and have that be that. But the people that are kind of in the lower rungs of society, they use the internet quite a bit. They're always on Facebook having the battle, or they're on Twitter. Social media is very big among lower income people. So I don't understand how that makes any sense. If anything, it's the other way around. People that have lower socioeconomic status use the internet more and express themselves more than those who have a lot of money.
Yeah. I agree completely. It's like the first article I've ever read on American Conservative that I'm like, what is this guy talking about? One more point, and I'll let you go. So later on in the article, maybe about halfway through the article, he goes into the how this is impacting our democracy. The founding fathers wouldn't like this, and he talked about information during the age of the founding fathers, and he basically says that print media is better than digital media, because print media is what is spread evenly among everyone. So like during the 1800s, the founding fathers, the guys back in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and so forth, most of them were highly literate. And when newspapers came out, they all had access to the same thing. So they were all able to participate in government with like an equal database of information. And he says the information elite are better able to access print resources than the poor. So towards the end of the article, he's basically championing print media and how print media is better for our democracy than digital media, and the distribution of information during the age of the founding fathers is better than it is now. So that's my last point. What do you buy that argument that one more time, print media is better than digital media because print media is spread evenly among everyone?
Now, okay, see, I have a unique perspective on this because I used to work in print media for a long time. That was what I did before I started doing this. I did print media, I did web design. So I saw what I saw happen to my business is what a lot of my friends who were also in print media. And to clarify that, what I started doing was like club flyers for people, a lot of hood spots, a lot of black clubs, restaurants, beauty salons, whatever. I did flyers. And then I started doing stuff like menus. We did sign installations. We did all kind of print media stuff, big print media, vinyl, paper, whatever. That's what we did for many years. A lot of my friends did it too. They had brick and mortar spots. A friend of mine had a business for 20 years doing print media. This is what I know. What I saw happen, especially among people that don't have a lot of money, was it transitioned from print to online. When Instagram came around, that put a big dent in my business because rather than a guy getting a box of 5,000 flyers, I'll put it on social media. I get a big following. I'm able to reach more people easier through electronic means than I am through print media. Because print, you got to actually be out, you got to go out there, put it in their hand, and you got to kind of attract them to it versus social media where they can see it over and over again without having to go anywhere in the comfort of their own home. It's easier to do print media, it's easier to do digital media than print media and to spread it faster. It's just like me with my videos. It's easier to do it right here electronically than it would be for me just to have a projector in a random city hoping to get people to watch it. Electronic media is most certainly easier and it spreads faster than print media. And I know that from having seen business shift from mostly print to all online.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you completely. So it kind of sounds like you're on my team. You're not really sold
Yeah.
by this either. Yeah. So just lastly, the title, America's Information Aristocracy. So basically, you disagree that there is no information aristocracy as far as like what's available to the public.
I mean, it's all out there. It's not like some kind of, it's not gate kept. Everything is out there. Google search away. That's why I told these kids that, it's like you have the internet, all the information in the palm of your hand. I remember going to the library, looking things up. If I had one question I wanted to have answered that I didn't know, I went to the library to try to find a book that had the answer in it. I did that as a kid, 9, 10 years old doing that. But now, if I want to know an answer, I'll just go to my phone and I can find it in a matter of seconds. It's easier. It's simple.
Yeah. Like I said, this is the first article on American conservative. I'm like, most of they put out some good stuff. I'm like, what the heck is this guy talking about? And at the end of the articles, these contributing writers, they have their little bios at the bottom. So this guy Kevin, he's a very bright guy, very articulate. Had me in the dictionary a little bit with some of the words he was using. Studying to get his law degree, studying to get his MBA. He's a very, very bright guy and definitely a patriot. But yeah, I just not sold at all on this one. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Thank you for your time. I'll let you go.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the internet has made things easier for me. For some people, they kind of rely on it and they take it for granted. They act like they don't really have the power that they have. Yeah, and the internet has become so much cheaper. I mean, everybody has a phone. People act like if you don't have high-speed internet in your house that you plug a desktop up to, that you don't have the internet. That's ridiculous. Everybody has a phone. The majority of websites in the world are accessed through mobile devices. All over the world, mobile devices. So if you have a phone, you can get one of these little phones from Walmart or whatever for next to nothing, even almost free. You can find one. Like the technology is not expensive. You can get access to the internet for the low price. All right, Matt, what's happening?
ABL, what's happening?
Everything's all right, man. Can't complain.
Hey, poor people have EBT, right?
They sure do.
Well, you need an ID and an internet connection to get that.
Yeah, you need an ID, an internet connection for a lot of these programs. But somehow, one thing that you need to do, voting, to have an ID and things for that's racist. Everything else, not racist.
Yeah, I don't. It's insulting, really. I think, and I don't know. It's like they don't even hear what the hell they're saying. Like before they say it.
Right.
Hey, I'm in Seattle, like a Seattle suburb, and our mayor put up a hate portal where you could anonymously file hate complaints against your neighbors.
Wow, sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the people that created the portal were appointed. So our mayor was appointed to city council and here. But when he was appointed, he replaced a black man. So there was a black man that was trying to get the appointment. So he took his spot. And then he's got a lapdog on the city council that this guy stole the appointment away from an Indian, or AKA a Caucasian, or true Caucasian, a black woman and a Chinese man. And the white dude got the appointment. And then these two guys got together and they put up a hate portal where supposedly you could file incidences of discrimination. And I reported their appointments through their own portal that they created. And so the first case that investigate, and it's all public record, is how did the white people get appointed ahead of all these minorities that actually ran political and stuff like that.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of S-posting. And I wanted to ask you, did you hear about the Seattle City Council candidate that is on video threatening to blow up a busload of kids with a bomb. Have you heard of this?
Yes, I have heard about that. Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear about the city council candidate in New York that released his own S&M video in order to get more attention to his campaign?
Now, I heard something about that, but wasn't it like he talked about it leaked or like what was the story behind that?
So he's just a rich kid from New York and running for city council. And we live in a day and age where unless you have like a sexual scandal, you're not like relevant. So he released first his Twitter account, like he like posted like on Twitter something to the effect of, "Oh, some hackers got a hold of my information. If you see some videos out there, I'm really I'm sorry." So then everybody's Googling them. But it turned out he released his own video of him getting dominated by some woman.
I blame,
so there's like city council candidates there. Yeah.
I blame Kim Kardashian.
You heard this?
I blame Kim Kardashian. It's her fault. She did it because she's the one that really made a whole empire off of these quote unquote tapes leaking. So I blame her for this. It's her fault.
Yeah, I've been putting out sex tapes. I can't make any money. Here's a question about prostitution. Do you trip on? So let's say you're just a prostitute, a straight prostitute, and you get a John, you go and exchange money, and in a hotel, and then you're arrested because it's illegal. But if you're a porn actor, you can go do the same thing for money. You get paid to do the same thing, but instead you film it and then you sell the I would say DVDs, but that dates me, right? But you sell it on the internet and then that's legal. Like what is the difference between engaging in pornography and being a prostitute? Exactly.
Well, regulation, that's all. Government being involved, because what happens with that world is you have human trafficking going on too. So if there is some kind of regulation or the government being involved with a quote unquote legitimate transaction, then they can identify when trafficking happens better than if it's unregulated and stuff just happens. So that's kind of the thing.
So that's the argument to regulate prostitution, because and then there's also a lot of trafficking in legitimate prostitution as well, or pornography.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
but see, the thing is, you can track it if you have a legitimate transaction, you can track it better than you can if it's illegitimate. That's the only argument I can have without getting too deep and weird on this show.
Yeah, but needless to say, there's some city council candidates that we're talking like local government where you have to be radical in order to be even taken seriously. You have to be a damn weirdo, like Gonzo is gay weirdo. You have to like just nobody's right anymore. Like you have to have a scandal of some kind.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's all I got for you, man. I'm enjoying your show. I'll let you get to your next call.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. Yeah, I guess some calls, don't I? Let's go to the next one here. 614, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey there, ABL. This is Pine in Australia right now.
All righty, man. What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
I just watched your DHS video. That is, talking about that certain people are going to be considered to be linked to terrorism. So, your earlier caller was saying that means they might target, anti-vaxxers on the internet, just monitoring their activities and stuff like that. But I was thinking, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist that also, just personally, I'm going to be looking at the next 2 months, anything coming out of America, and I'm going to be real skeptical about any events that are considered terrorism being linked to, those two things primarily, not following the COVID narrative that they're drawing up. or to do with election fraud. So you know, I was just saying that it seems to me like it's almost setting up, you know, things to come. You know, that's just me and my paranoia.
I mean, it makes sense to me. It really does, because if you see something like, if they say something like that, and then you see a thing, it's like, okay, wait a minute, is this real, or is it related to that? You have to think that way, because we've seen this happen before, where there are certain things that happen or they say happen, and it sounds kind of fishy, and then it winds up being some kind of story behind it, some kind of motive behind it being perceived this way, and it's not really that way. So you're right to think that, because I'll think the same thing if I were you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm so nervous, but there was just one more thing I wanted to say. Just in terms of my own experience, you know, nowadays, the thing of race and the debates we're having, people like to pretend like it's something been going on for a long time, and they're fighting this old school thing that's been going on the whole time in America and the West. But I've seen that the what they determine to be racism and even people's races has changed so much. I come from South Africa. I come from the Afrikaner. I come from that old apartheid mentality, which was like real racism, you know. And my people were considered white and were the perpetrators of that terrible things. And then I moved to Australia, and coming from that, being raised with those people, those white supremacists, I come to Australia, and now people say that I'm a person of color, you know, and it just shows how weird things are nowadays, and how much things have changed, and how much how much we need to get away from that and just look for unity instead of trying to categorize everybody. But that was it, ABL. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Great call. Shout out to my man. All right, Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's Franz, your moderator.
Hey, man, what's going on?
How you doing, man?
Ain't complaining too much.
Hey, man, I was okay. So I'm calling you because I want to talk about a few topics. The first one is something funny about. I see your books behind, and I think you're missing one book. It's called Ordinary Men. You should check it out. I don't know if you have it or if you have read it.
Oh, I've not. I gotta check it out for sure. And the author?
I forgot the name of the author. I don't have it right now. I think it's Brown or something. Could check it out. Something else that I wanted to talk to you. It's about here in Puerto Rico, and it's that they're trying to, or they're going to mandate vaccine proof for restaurants. You want to go in, you have to show proof that you have the vaccine.
So my question that I always ask is, how are they really going to be able to verify? You could just say, hey, here's my card and let me in. What is there going to be some kind of, are they going to call your doctor to see what's going on? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Now they're probably gonna come up with an application or something. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. You know. And another thing, I don't know. I know that you don't watch cable news or cable in general.
Right.
And I don't know if you ever seen like an ad for sclerosis, for the skin like condition.
Say for what now? For sclerosis?
Yeah, sclerosis.
I may have. I'm not really sure. I can't really remember.
Well, there's a peculiarity. I was watching cable with my parents, and I saw this ad. I can't remember what was the medicine, the prescription. I can't remember exactly the name of it. But the funny thing is that at the end of it, they mention that if you have a vaccine, you have been vaccinated, do not take it, call your doctor first.
Wow.
See? So that's like a ring for me. Like wait a second. there's already issues here, what we don't know.
Right. I mean, I feel like if that was going to cause the issue with that, like, what if you were already taking that medication, then you get the vax? Was that something that you were told before? So what if you had the vax and you had the medication at the same time, and then you see the commercial and they say don't take it? Now you're afraid for your life.
Yeah, what other medication might be a problem in the future?
Right.
Okay, that's why I think is that the reason they wait so much, like 10 years it is or something like that, because it's not only is it safe for taking right now, it's the future implications that it has. Okay, what other mixture could be in the future that I could react with the vaccine that you had?
Right.
See, there's I'm sorry, there's a peculiarity about here in Puerto Rico that so you people know that vaccines are always being mandated here for people to go to schools. If you wanted to be on a school, being like a kid, you had to have certain vaccines. Okay.
Oh wow.
That's something that's always been. But right now I'm like yeah, well, but a vaccine to enter a restaurant, I could understand certain things, but well, another thing that shocked me the other day, I was watching the news, and they decided to talk about the different Christian denominations here, and the thing is, they all say that yeah, there's nothing in the Bible stating that that will exempt you. Sorry, that you will exempt you from taking the vaccine. So I'm thinking, right, like okay, there's nothing there that says that you can take it. Okay, but I thought, like God made man free, right? And
That's right.
then it's in my opinion that he ratifies in the Bible saying, "Let there be freedom through the land." But okay, I guess I might be wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
and one last thing. I want to give a shout out to all the Puerto Ricans in the chat, those that are in the U.S., and if there's anyone in the chat from the mainland, from the island here, okay, shout out to you all. You're not alone.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, Anthony. Good night.
All right now. All right. Great way to end the show. That will be a wrap. If you couldn't get on tonight, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man for that. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate y'all. Great show as always. I appreciate everybody for joining. If you enjoyed the show tonight, go ahead and get a video a thumbs up if you've not done so already. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. This will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Links for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search for ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Shout out to all my sponsors, Mission1920.com, BHDesigns.com, PatriotPost.com, ABLmerch.com, and also PatriotPost.us, pardon me, PatriotPost.us, and AnthonyBLogan.com, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Shout out to the mods. Don't ban anybody for no reason. Keep everything above board. Keep everything good. I appreciate you for what you do. And shout out to everybody that watched, that super chatted, that subscribed, that shared, whatever, called in, listen. I thank you all for doing what you do. I got super chats right here to read, and then wrap it on up, put the bow on the top. Let me go back to where I left off. We can go ahead and get everything rocking and rolling. Let me see. MK says, new Coke was a bigger disaster than January 6th. Lewis from Spain says, you can say, guess what? I'm a white teeth supremacist, and I hate people with yellow, brownish, or black teeth. They will be like, what? Shout out to Jess Cause, who says, shout out to India. Daniavad, my brother. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. It's not my fault, but I don't speak that, whatever that language is. Shout out to Ryan for being an ABL member 13 months straight. I appreciate you. Love you, ABL. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to Jason Network, who says, This isn't much but thanks and keep on keeping on. Hey, man, whatever you got, I take. Thank you. Thank you to Stephanie Fisher, who said, thank you, ABL. Well, thank you. Thank you to Alice Cersei, who says, Arnold was an actor turned governor. He played a character that made him rich. Remember, they are actors, not the person they portray. Correct. 1,000%. Just like Bill Cosby. Thank you to PC Gaming Guru, who says, mainstream media is silent on illegal immigrants crossing the border with COVID dispersed and being dispersed in the public. Oh, yeah. Coming in by the thousands. Just no tests, no masks, no nothing. Just come on in. And it's fine. Remember, like I said earlier, they said Lollapalooza, the big concert in Chicago, they said that was not a super spreader event. You got thousands of people elbow to elbow, not a big super spreader event. Oh, okay. But if your child goes to school with no mask on, that's going to be a super spreader event. Make that make sense, but I'll move on. They're outside ABL, but they're elbow to elbow and 20,000 deep. If your nose is touching the back of my ear, and I can feel your hot breath and your spit flying on my neck, I mean, come on. Let's just be real. No matter if you're outside or not, you could spread whatever. You could spread a lot of different things that way, but I won't go down that road, so I digress. Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says, the plot has started dumbing down our students, graduating idiots, and sending more to college to get their idiot degrees. Look at Colorado. Correct. Thank you to M. Martin 261, who says, the French, British, and British virologists have learned that the vax makes takers into individual walk-in Wuhan labs, making their virus stronger and more spreadable. We only need natural immunity. Correct. Thank you to Matthew, who says, love you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you to Andy the Gypsy, who says, great content. Speaking at any events anytime soon. I don't have anything anytime soon. But whenever they want to hit me up about something that's legitimate, my emails are open. And my email, contact@anthonyblogan.com. All my email, snail mail is on my website, anthonyblogan.com, on the contact page. Leo says, I wonder how many people change their mask throughout the day. Change their mask? How about wash their mask from day to day? You asking for too much, sir. Thank you to Jay James, who says Trump 2024. Thank you to James Lindbergh, who says Cuomo didn't Me Too that intern, but he is a murderer. Mainstream media covered it up at Congress's request. Fact, in my opinion. Oxymoron, but whatever. Thank you to Tasha, who says, just wanted to shout out my 5th month. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to Razor Sharp Thoughtfulness, who says, obeying mask mandates at this point is simply overcompensation for proving your fealty to the far left's self-appointed overreaching authority. Fact. Thank you to Trans Orangutan, who says HR 4980 has been introduced and would require anyone flying into or out of the U.S. to be vaccinated against COVID. Thank you to Angel for your donation. And to go back to the Trans Orangutan, hilarious name, they want to have vaccine requirements to fly into the country, but you can walk into the country with nothing, with a cell phone and an old T-shirt, and you good. It's so dumb. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Thank you to Jerry J, who says, I called 10 times, maybe later. Good show. Hey, I'm sorry you couldn't get on, but thank you for being here. And thank you to FA Ranger Xbox, who says Cuomo is guilty of violation of the United States Constitution, Title 18, Section 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law. Well, hey, let's see if we get some criminal investigations going on. That'd be great. All right, so that'll be a wrap for me. Thank y'all again for being here. Couldn't do it without y'all. I'll be back live again on Wednesday, and I think we're doing Brandon's show on Thursday of next week. I'll be back there as well. But I'm here on this channel every Wednesday and Saturday live from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm here every day with pre-recorded videos, Monday through Saturday. Tomorrow I'm off. And I got too much super chats here to read, then I'm out. Thank you to M. Martin, who says, why has Defense Secretary Austin moved all the nuclear ordnance from southern states to Dover Air Force Base? Don't know. Good question. And also, AM says, you should run for office. Any position, you'd be great with all you do. Thank you. I have no desire to run anytime soon, but if enough of you guys demand it, then I have no choice. That's usually how it happens, right? You kind of get called to serve, not necessarily, I want to be a politician when I grow up. That's not how it works. Anyway, thank you for being here. Until next time, Y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.